Following Scotland's teams in Europe.
Oh, here we go.
This is Sports Sound.
Brilliant! It's centre back to the net. Another magnificent goal for Aberdeen. Goal for Hearts. Smashing it home into the top corner from close range. Brilliant play from Hearts.
Aberdeen in the Europa League playoff round.
I know the scoreline previously a few years ago. I think Häcken's a totally different team now. I think they're a lot better side now than they were then.
Guppy steps right footed and sends the keeper the wrong way. 5-3 on aggregate.
We know it's going to be tough. Häcken are a good side, and hopefully we can take a decent result going into second leg.
There's a goal! It's been coming, and now it's arrived!
Hearts in the Europa Conference League playoff round.
I don't think many people would have picked us to get through Rosenborg in the two legs.
Goal! Is losing its mind! As Hearts have progressed, they've beaten Rosenborg on aggregate by 4-3.
We'd set ourselves a challenge to try and qualify for the group stages of the UEFA Conference League. We've got a two-legged affair with PAOK and hopefully we're good enough to come through them.
Oh, what a goal! Superb goal from Hearts!
Following Scotland's teams in Europe. Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
And a big thanks to Martin for finally interrupting Brian and allowing us to bring you live commentary from the we're going to miss the first half. This is Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Good evening and a very warm welcome. A double header of live European action. Conference League later. It's a 7:45 kick-off. We will miss the first 10 minutes or so of that one because that's Hearts against PAOK in the Conference League. We're kicking off with a 6 o'clock start in Sweden where Häcken play Aberdeen. A full live commentary to come from there. Willie Willer with me in the Aberdeen studio. Our commentary team in the Bravida Arena are Rory Loy and Thomas Duncan. And Thomas can fill us in with the team news.
I can indeed, Richard. Good evening from very sunny, gorgeous Gothenburg, the Bravida Arena. Just 6,000 fans can get in here, 4,000 tonight because the stand behind the goal where the Ultras usually are is closed on European matches. So Aberdeen fans, about 400 of them away to our right, gathered and waiting to cheer on their team, full of expectation and hope ahead, and hopefully they can get into the Europa League group stages. And the team that they'll be cheering on is the same one, as many of them will have done so at Stirling Albion on Friday evening. So it's Kelroos in goal, a makeshift back three you'd have to say, continues of Nicky Devlin, Slobodan Rubezic, Jack McKenzie, Morris and Ryan Duncan, the wing backs, a midfield three of Shinnie, Leighton Clarkson and Dante Polvara, and then Duke and Bojan Miovski up front. It was interesting whether Richard Jensen, the new signing centre-back, left centre-back, who signed yesterday, Finnish international, Barry Robson, saying he would have no qualms about throwing him in. He was registered in time, all the paperwork was through, but he's not starting. He has played 5 games in the Polish top flight, so arguably he could have been ready. He's been playing games, but he's on the bench this evening, as is Jamie McGrath, of course, signed a couple of days ago after leaving Wigan on loan at United last season, of course, and James McGarry as well, the signing from Central Coast Mariners. He's on the bench, so none of these guys are up to speed with the team and match fit, and obviously you've got Angus MacDonald as well and others coming back from fitness. The rest on the bench for Aberdeen: Anthony Stewart, Vicente Boussouen, Esther Sockler, Johnny Hayes, Ross Duan and Connor Barron as well. Häcken, they're going to be a real test for Aberdeen this evening. They're unbeaten in 12 here at home. They've scored 43 goals in that time. They've won 11 of those 12. The other was a draw. They really are formidable in their own backyard, banging in lots of goals. They've made just one change from the second leg of the last round where they beat Žalgiris Vilnius 5-0 here, 3-1 away from home, 5-0 here, 8-1 on aggregate. So as I say, they can definitely score goals. So just one change from that team, and it's the left back Christopher Lund, because he's joined Palermo in Serie B for a couple of €1 million. He's away out, and Valgeir Fridriksson, the Iceland international, 7 caps for Iceland. He's actually a right back, but he's come in at left back. So they go with experienced goalkeeper Peter Abrahamsson in goal, couple of Sweden caps. Simon Sandberg, the right back. Centre backs Johan Hammer and Evan Hovland. Fridriksson, as I said, at left back. We've got the captain, Samuel Gustafsson, 7 Sweden caps. He's at the base of midfield. Mikko Rigor, the Danish experienced midfielder, he's got 11 goals and 15 assists this season. Many reckon he is the best player at the club, alongside Romeo Omani, the 20-year-old Ivory Coast midfielder who's got bags of energy and breaks up the play as well. And then the front three, who are Ibrahim Sadiq, who's been linked with young boys in Switzerland. He's got 17 goals and 21 appearances this season. He scored in 4 out of 6 of the Euro qualifiers so far. On the other side, it's Amor Layuni, who scored 5 in 10 since signing in July. And then Srjan Hrstić, the Serbian striker, just 20-year-old. He's only signed at the start of the month, and he's already got 3 goals in 4 appearances. So, as I say, Richard, this is a team that Aberdeen are coming up against that are full of goals, full of attacking intent, and they'll be put under severe pressure, I think, this evening.
Well, we'll get Rory's thoughts in just a moment or two. Willie Miller alongside me. You've been watching the Dons this season, Willie. Many surprises at all. It is that unchanged lineup.
I don't think so. I think that is the starting lineup for the Livy game as well. If I'm right in saying that, I haven't checked it, but I just think by memory, I think it is the same lineup. And Barry hasn't been making too many changes, even substitutions. Not a great deal of substitutions. I think he's been focusing on trying to get the squad a little bit more solid and many more options, which he seems to be doing. And I must say the board have backed him pretty substantially and beefing up that squad. I just listened to Thomas there. I was just kind of sliding down my chair. The stats that he was given out in Häcken, they sound a real solid team, a team that can score goals as well. And the last time Aberdeen were out there, it was a 2-0 defeat out there. This is a winning side, isn't it, that they're going up against a side that is well into their season. So it's going to be a tough ask for Aberdeen. I think anything in terms of the result that they can take back to Pittodrie would be a good scoreline. A draw would be fantastic. A kind of a 1-0 defeat would be fabulous. And if they could manage a win, which I think will be very difficult for them, then that would be sensational.
Let's get out to Rory then. What's the feeling out there? Is there real confidence among the Swedes, Rory?
Good evening, Richard. Willie, yes, is the answer to that one. I think the Swedes around, just chatting to the media yesterday, the Swedish media, they seem pretty confident that Häcken, who, as Thomas has said, are pretty formidable at home, free scoring Häcken, can get a good enough result tonight to take back to Pittodrie and get through the tie. The Swedish press next to us, heard on Swedish radio, was chatting to Johan Elmander there, played at a very high level, several caps for Sweden and played in the English Premier League for years. He's got Häcken down as 2-0 victors tonight. I said that I reckon Aberdeen will score a goal, which I hope they will. But the feeling amongst the Swedes, the media, the fans, and the general atmosphere around the place is very optimistic, and they fancy themselves to take a few off Aberdeen tonight. So hopefully they're wrong, Richard.
Apologies, there's a technical issue with the studio back in Aberdeen, so we've lost Richard and Willie Miller for the time being. It's Thomas Duncan here, you're listening to Sportsline. We're out in Gothenburg, myself and Rory Loy. We're about to describe the action as Aberdeen take on BK Häcken, the Swedish champions, in the playoff round of the Europa League. We were just saying there, Rory, I mean, this is a team that are full of confidence. They just don't lose many games, and that's something that, its momentum is key, and they're just used to winning and finding the back of the net on their own ground. How did Aberdeen try and disrupt that?
Well, I think that could play into Aberdeen's hands, Thomas, if I'm being totally honest with you, due to the fact that I get a feeling of they're underestimating Aberdeen slightly. We were out in Switzerland last week, and I felt that the Swiss underplayed Hibs' strengths quite a lot, and they were made to pay the price last week, so I'm hoping it's the same or very similar theme tonight, because, like I said, whilst this team, Häcken, are very good, I believe that Aberdeen have got enough in their squad, and they've shown enough under Barry Robson that they can come out here and, I don't think grind out a result, but at least score a couple of goals.
Is there any concern about the way Aberdeen have lined up defensively? It's the way they're kind of forced to. Obviously, they've brought in Richard Jensen to play on the left-hand side of defence, but he's obviously literally just in the door, just been flown across. We've got, Nicky Devlin's, a full-back, wing-back. Jack McKenzie's a full-back, wing-back, and they're both playing at centre-back against, as we keep saying, a team that are full of confidence and scoring goals. Is that a concern?
Yes, I think if you're going to, if you want continuity, players need to be played in the correct positions. I think if you've got one square peg in a round hole throughout the team, then you're looking at that going, well, that can still work. It's not ideal, but it can still work. I think if you're having to shuffle 2 or 3 players out of position, not only are you asking questions of the likes of Nicky Devlin at centre-back, you're taking away his attributes as a wing-back. So it's a double-edged sword in terms of that. However, look, I do believe that the likes of Nicky Devlin and Jack McKenzie have got enough about them to produce a performance at left and right centre back, especially with 3 with that extra cover in there with Rubazic. So like I said, I think this Aberdeen side's capable of getting a result. I think a draw would be magnificent. And like I said, I think they'll score. It's just a case of how many can they keep out at the other end.
Well,
Thomas Rory, thank you for
here.
that. For a slight issue, we did have a slight issue here, hopefully resolved now. Willie, would you have been at all tempted to put any of the new faces into that starting lineup?
Well, most of them are just in the door as well, so I think you would be taking a bit of a risk not having enough time to work with them. And I think Barry's been reasonably happy with the performances, even though it's a very young defensive unit. I mean, you're talking about Ryan Duncan playing at left wing back and Shaden Morris at right wing back, and if you add in Jack McKenzie and Dante Polvara to these two as well, it's a relatively inexperienced lineup that they've got, but they do have firepower. I think going forward they will cause Häcken a problem through Majowski and Duke, but I would be a little bit concerned defensively. I also watched Rubezic as well at Stirling, and he lost it a bit. His temperament wasn't particularly good. Actually had to be hooked. He was taken off second half because he had lost the plot a little bit. So he has got to stay calm throughout this. But it is a kind of a makeshift defensive unit, so they will be tested tonight. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with it.
They do have the firepower, as you mentioned, Majowski, Lopez up front, and clearly they looked to that to try to get what could be an important goal across it.
Well, if Duke's in form, he wasn't in form against Stirling Albion. It was just a shadow of what I was expecting from him in that game. But he's got pace, he's direct, and that if Häcken are looking to throw men forwards, and he can take advantage of that space if they do leave space. And Majowski's a very intelligent striker. He can cause any defensive issues. So that is a strike force that, as far as the home side is concerned, they'll have to give due respect to. And as far as Aberdeen's concerned, I'm sure Barry Robson will be looking for these two in particular to take advantage of any space that they're allowed. Particularly Häcken throwing things forward and maybe feeling a little bit overconfident. I think you take that when you're playing away from home. You hope that the opposition are a little bit overconfident and you can take advantage of it.
I think that's a great point, Willie. I think it's a great point. Sorry, Richard, because I get the feeling of overconfidence, and I was saying to Thomas there, it was the same last week in Switzerland. There was a sense of, we're at home now, we're going to take care of it. I hope they've done, for their sakes, I hope they've done their homeworks on Aberdeen's front line, because I agree with Willie. I think they're slightly overconfident and are underestimating Aberdeen slightly.
In terms of Aberdeen so far this season, Willie, didn't have a shot on target against Livingston. It was a better performance against Celtic when gauged against previous performances against Celtic, but ultimately lost. I know they had issues. I listened to you guys. They had issues down at Stirling as well. Any concerns?
There's no doubt that they have issues. I think when they played against Celtic, obviously the tactics were to try and nullify Celtic, play a high line and not give them much time. And it worked a treat, but the other two games, the creative side were definitely lacking. There wasn't much creativity at all in the other two games.
Right, the teams are out at the Bravida Arena. We will chat more with Willie at half-time. Remember, later we'll have live commentary from the Conference League qualifier Hearts against PAOK at Tynecastle. We'll get to that as soon as the game is finished in Sweden. But right now, settle back and enjoy Häcken against Aberdeen. Live commentary here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with Rory Loy and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gothenburg. It's a city synonymous with Aberdeen's Cup Winners' Cup success of 40 years ago, but the current squad are here to write their own small piece in the club's modern history as they look to get to the Europa League group stages for the first time since 2007-8, when they got to the last 32 of the then UEFA Cup before going out to Bayern Munich. And it's not often you get an opportunity like this. One tie over two legs against a team who, the Swedish champions Häcken, who are, yes, they've got plenty of talent. They are no mugs, that's for sure, but it is an eminently winnable tie for Aberdeen. It's an opportunity they need to grasp. However, they, of course, have the safety net of the Conference League groups up till Christmas, which will bring joy for the fans, the players, and, of course, the boardroom with the money on offer. But it's about the Europa League. That's in the here and now. And Häcken, as we've been discussing, formidable here on their own patch, unbeaten in 12, winning 11. They are vulnerable at times though. Faroese side Klasvik putting them out in the Champions League qualifiers, drawing 3-3 here after a goalless draw on the Faroes and then winning on penalties. So it's not like they're impenetrable, Häcken, and Aberdeen will look to try and do a job on them here as the players just line up. We had a Swedish woman on the pitch singing the Häcken club national anthem, getting the fans right up for it. There's lots of clapping and jumping going on behind the goal to our left. You can just see Nicky Devlin trying to gee up his Aberdeen teammates as Häcken form a huddle in their half. Aberdeen going to shoot from left to right in this first half in their traditional all-red kit with a gold trim this season. Häcken in their black and gold, yellow striped top with the black shorts, black socks. And Rory, as we've been discussing, the home side here are full of confidence. They reckon they're going to turn Aberdeen over here, and Aberdeen need to, you think, make a statement early doors?
Well, not necessarily early doors. They need to make a statement across the two legs. There's no rush to do it in the first 10-15 minutes. Of course you want to make a bright start, of course you do, but I don't think there's any rush whatsoever. Speaking to Graham Shinney after their training session yesterday, he's saying he loves European nights. He wants the players to be able to experience that at the highest level, and they'll be desperate to make it into the Europa League where some humongous clubs lie in wait.
Yeah, absolutely. We're underway here, and it's the home side with it at the back. Hovland, he's under pressure from Miofsky straight away, the centre back, and he's given it out to Sandberg on the right hand side, who's cleared it forward. Here's Rygaard, the Danish midfielder. 11 goals and 15 assists this season already for him. Sadiq, the winger, on the right hand side, and it's fired up towards Hrstić, the Serbian striker. Cleared by Aberdeen only as far as Amani, who's right foot out to this near touchline left hand side. Layuni, the left winger, is going to try and take on Morris, who stands him up well, and Layuni's forced backwards. Tunisian passes it back to Hovland, the Norwegian centre half. Johan Amar, the centre back, moves it across to Sandberg, comes in field up over the halfway line into Hrstić, who's played it round the corner looking for Rygaard, but it's cleared by McKenzie. But Hrstić has it again, driving towards the Aberdeen goal. They're forced back. Here's Amani, about 35 yards middle of the pitch from the Aberdeen goal, and it's played up to Rygaard, turns towards the edge of the box, out to Sadiq on the right hand side. He's up towards the edge of the box, he's taking on the fullback, he gets in, he puts in the cross, and it's blocked by Rubezic at the near post and out for a corner on the far side. But that's a glimpse, Rory, of what Häcken are all about. Yes, it is a glimpse.
The pitch is extremely zippy in terms of the surface being, it's wet. The ball bounces off it so quickly. They need to get that sorted out in terms of Häcken players dropping between Aberdeen's defensive line and midfield line, because it's caused a few problems already and led to the first corner. My goodness, does Sadiq look quick.
It is an artificial surface, we should say, here at the Bravida Arena. It was watered pre-match. Aberdeen were saying they like the look of the surface as artificial ones go. No excuses, Barry Robson says, but they've got a corner to defend here. Rygaard goes short to Gustafsson, and it's up to the edge of the box to Layuni with a left-footed shot, and it's thudded in to Ryan Duncan. And now Shayden Morris breaks for Aberdeen. He's up towards the halfway line, but Layuni gets back and gets a foot in, and then Morris tries to tap it through, and Miofsky's running round, and the defender just gets in front of Miofsky to head it back to the goalkeeper Abrahamsson, who rolls it out. And now Häcken are on their way up the left-hand side through the left-back Friedrichsen, Icelandic international, checks back, moves it to Amani, Ivorian midfielder. Layuni on this left-hand side, he's crossed it into the middle of the 6-yard box, and it's put behind up in the air for another corner. Jack McKenzie doing his defensive duties there in the box.
Yes, this game will settle down. It's been end to end. Häcken have been, they've started really well. Aberdeen just need to deal with the first 10-15 minutes, let the fans calm down, get a grip on the game, get a few passes in, and try and avoid losing an early goal.
Gustafsson, the captain, is over this corner kick. He puts both hands in the air. He's got Rygaard's a short option. He puts it to the back post, and it's up there, and there was a Häcken head that got on the end of that at the back post, but I think it came off the shoulder. I think it was Hrstić, and then ended up going behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. So a chance for Kjell Roos to just get his hands on the ball here. He's about to take a goal kick and maybe just slow things down a wee bit.
Yes, exactly what I was saying, Thomas. This tie isn't going to be won in this leg tonight necessarily. Aberdeen need to slow things down and take the momentum out of Häcken's game early doors. They're a big side as well, a threat from set pieces and corners, but Aberdeen have dealt with the first two not too badly. 3.5 minutes gone, goalless here in Gothenburg in this Europa League playoff first leg. Aberdeen coming forward, headed on by Polvara, but Häcken get it back quickly, and here's Amani.
again, just inside his own half, moves it out to this near side, and Friedrichsen plays it up the touchline looking for Launi again. He's swarmed by Morris and Devlin. He's battled back and he's won it back. Launi gives it to Gustafsson, whose touch is heavy, and Polvara tried to nick in, but he got it away to Hammer. And now Sandberg, the right back, crosses halfway for Häcken. He's into the Aberdeen half. Sadiq into the feet of Rigor. And back to Gustafsson. Aberdeen just trying to sit in their shape and just keep Häcken arm's length, and then Clarkson gets a foot in the middle of the pitch and it's fallen for Miofsky, and now Duke's going to try and make a run in behind, but Miofsky's driving towards the edge of the box. He's found Duke. No, he hasn't. The pass is just in front of his teammate, but that was a good, quick counter-attack from Aberdeen.
Yes, it was, and it was fantastic play in the middle of the pitch from Leighton Clarkson. He nipped in, he grabbed the ball off the opposition.
Yes, Morris fires a cross in, dealt with it at the near post, out to the corner of the box. Clarkson thinks about going in, he does get it, and then he plays it forward to Devlin, but then it's cleared down to Howards halfway, and Rubezic nods it out for a throw-in just inside the Häcken half. But yeah, Rory, as you were saying, that was a good glimpse of what Aberdeen will be looking to do.
Yeah, exactly that. That'll be part of the game plan, is to wait till the midfield of Häcken get a little bit lazy on the ball, and it was Amani there, took too many touches, and Clarkson nipped in. And as we've discussed, Aberdeen have got the power up top to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite do it on that occasion, but that is where Aberdeen will be their most dangerous.
5 minutes in, goalless. Here's Leighton Clarkson with the ball midway through his own half. Hrstić goes to eventually close him down. He just knocks it back to Rubezic. Aberdeen were, of course, here a couple of years ago in the Conference League, second qualifying round, lost 2-0, but they'd won 5-1 at Pittodrie. But the side's very, very different. Only 4 first-teamers from Häcken still here, only 2 regulars from Aberdeen. That's Mackenzie and Johnny Hayes, who's on the bench tonight. So it's 2 completely different sets of players realistically. Here's Clarkson, ball in midfield in his own half, fires it out to the right-hand touchline and finds Shayden Morris, who's got space. He's going to run at Friedrichsen, driving up towards the edge of the box. He's going to go beyond Friedrichsen, who gets back really well and makes the block. Aberdeen corner though. The fans behind that goal that Aberdeen are shooting into enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and it's came through Leighton Clarkson again. He takes the ball, he puts his foot on the ball in midfield, he lifts his head, he takes that sting out the game and plays a lovely ball out wide into the space. And Morris runs at his fullback Friedrichsen, who actually defends it well, but Aberdeen get the first corner of the match.
Indeed, a chance to stick the ball into the box and see what the Häcken defence are all about. They have looked tidy in possession, as we expected early on, but Aberdeen, after a few minutes on the back foot, have managed to get themselves up the pitch, and Clarkson goes across to offer the short option. He gets it. Now he's going to try and put the cross in with the right foot. It's blocked and it's just out for another corner. It was Duncan who went short to him.
Yeah, I'm all for short corners and trying to work things, but I think, they've not tested them in terms of crosses into the box yet. I think stick one in. They lost a couple of goals at the weekend. Stick one in right on the goalkeeper, see how they deal with it.
And that's what they're going to do on this occasion. Duncan puts it right to the back post, and Abrahamsson, the goalkeeper, does well and punches it behind out the other side for another corner on the far side as we stand here in the main stand. Goalless, 7 played.
Yeah, the keeper made a couple of bad errors against the Faroese, which cost Häcken in the end. Didn't get qualification into the next stages of that, so I don't think it's a bad idea at all to put him under pressure early doors.
Yeah, another corner will come in for Aberdeen. Clarkson's gone across to take this one, puts the arm up, fires it again. He's gone for the back post towards Duke, who almost gets something on it, but it's scrambled clear, and now Sadiq has it on this near touchline for Häcken, but Shinnie gets across and makes the tackle. He's insisting it came off the Häcken player last, and in fact he's correct, and that's the way the linesman has signalled. Aberdeen get the throw in. Nicky Devlin throws it back into his own half. Rubezic takes the ball and moves it across to Mackenzie, who goes back to Kellerus, takes a touch in his own box, the goalkeeper, and then sends it long, but it's not towards a teammate. Abrahamsson, though, there's a bit of miscommunication, and eventually the goalkeeper gets there and gives it to Friedrichsen, who sends it forward. Devlin, who's back pedalling, and he could only head it to the feet of Sadiq, who's now being pursued by Shinnie on this near touchline. Twists and turns away from the Aberdeen captain wonderfully, and then he's pinged out a wonderful ball with the right foot out to Sandberg on the other flank. And here's Rigor, and Häcken come forward on the right hand side. Launi, who switch wings momentarily with Sadiq, and then Sandberg gets in on the overlap, crosses into the middle of the box. There's Hrstić with a free hit, blocked again by Rubezic, and then scrambled away out of the box. Fantastic defending from Rubezic eventually, but it was allowed to bounce. in the Aberdeen box. Now Duke's trying to scamper up the left-hand touchline. He's gone past one. He's still got a couple to beat. Moves it in field to Shinnie, up towards the edge of the box. Shinnie's into the box, tries to get the cross in, and then eventually he's shot at the near post. But Abrahamson was able to gather comfortably.
Yes, indeed. A great passage of play from both sides, I must say. Aberdeen will be concerned in wide areas. It's getting into the box far too easily. However, you must say Rubezic defended the situation magnificently well with a couple of blocks. And then up the other end, Shinnie, I think if he lifts his head, he can switch out the other side to Morris. Doesn't quite do it, and it doesn't come off in the end of cross. But what a start to this game.
Here's Sadiq driving at Nicky Devlin towards the corner of the Aberdeen box. Devlin does really well to make sure he doesn't go by him, but he's going to have another go. Then he nutmegs him and turns back towards the byline, but Rubezic has read it and come across and cleared. It wasn't the best clearance, but it will do for now. Here's Friedrichsen, the left back. Gustafsson, middle of the Aberdeen half, middle of the pitch, moves it to Rygaard. Back to Gustafsson. And Rygaard, a lot of neat and tidy footballers in Häcken colours. Amani, Rygaard up towards the edge of the box, and he trussed it up to the back post. Layuni's coming across, but Duncan gets there first. He's got it on the byline, he's under pressure, and then he's allowed to clear it up the touchline. It evades Duke, and it'll go all the way through to the centre half Hammer. But they're high, they're pressing Aberdeen into their own half. Here's Rygaard, looks up, gives it to Amani, who's got space to work a shot if he wants it. He does, but he fires it well wide, and Aberdeen will take that all day long. 10 minutes in here in the first leg of this Europa League playoff, and it's goalless.
Yeah, well, Bojan Majowski's getting an earful from Graham Shinnie. He wants him to drop slightly deeper and help out further back the pitch. Majowski maybe feels he needs to stay up the pitch and give Aberdeen an outlet. However, they are finding a lot of space. You must say the Swedes, you would expect that, them to play good football. You know, our manager has got a lot of experience, former Norway boss.
Yeah, Per-Mathias Hogmo, 63 years old, managed both the Norwegian men's and women's teams. Got his first club trophy last season, title winner with Häcken. And they are not one of Sweden's biggest clubs, so it is a remarkable feat for them to become champions for the first time. And there's a free kick given against Aberdeen in the middle of the pitch. Amani goes down. And was it Shinnie that went in there? And anyway, Polvara goes to check that Amani's okay. He's still on the deck in the centre circle.
Yeah, just having another look here. I actually think it's a good tackle.
Polvara.
He might catch him. That happens in football. He is quite high. He does catch him high up the leg on second viewing. Difficult one to call because he does win the ball. I don't think there's any intent there. The free kick is given. Polvara actually apologises to Amani there. Does catch him, no malice. So probably the correct decision in the end from the referee.
Worth reminding you, there is VAR in operation tonight, which is familiar for Aberdeen. Not so for Häcken, because there is no VAR in the Swedish top flight. Guys, our colleagues of Swedish Radio explained this beforehand, that a lot of Swedish clubs are fan-owned, and so many of them, or more than half of them, voted against bringing in VAR. So it's not something they play with week in, week out in their domestic league. Here they come forward. Free kick taken short. Here's Gustafsson out to the right. Sandberg tries to move it in, and then Shinnie's got a toe on a ball into the middle of the pitch, and it went up and into the hands of Kelarus safely enough. And Aberdeen will look to get up the pitch, and Kelarus has fired a brilliant kick out to Shayden Morris on this right-hand touchline. He moves it infield to Clarkson, who looks up, thinks about moving out to the left where Shinnie's waiting. He checks back, comes to the right-hand side, and Shayden Morris is going to run it. Friedrichsen again, he's into the box, right on the corner of the box, but it's a poor touch from the Aberdeen wing-back, and Friedrichsen just nicks it off him and clears it up the touchline. And then Leighton Clarkson tries to come across and intercept, and he's put it out for a Häcken throw-in on this near side.
He's getting an awful lot of space out there, Morris. The Häcken boss isn't particularly pleased with that, because not only once they didn't react, the second time it went out there again, and if it wasn't for a poor touch, something might have happened for Aberdeen there. But unfortunately for Morris, he lost control of the ball.
Well, that's the thing with Shayden Morris. He's got such pace, but the control let him down there. When he's got loads of space in front of him, he's very dangerous, but just miscontrolled the ball. Häcken trying to play out from the back here. Aberdeen putting the pressure on, and was that a misplaced pass on the far side? It was. It's gone out for a throw into Aberdeen midway through the Häcken half. Good pressure from Aberdeen, because Häcken will try and do that, Rory.
Yeah, they've had a couple of early scares. Obviously you want to avoid balls getting into your box, so Barry Robson will try and fix that as much as he can. The players need to take that on the pitch as well, but I think he'll be very, very happy with.
And Abrahamson has to come and collect the long ball, as Majowski was chasing it.
Yeah, I think he'll be very happy with, you know, the joy Aberdeen are getting when they're winning the ball back high up the pitch, because they're capable of mistakes, this team. You can see that already. Häcken, they take chances.
Absolutely, they're playing out of their own box here. Hammer goes across his own box to Friedrichsen, and it's overhit, and he's had to scramble just to keep it in on this near touchline. Morris is way up the park trying to tackle him, and he's got in. He's got a challenge in to Clarkson on the corner of the box. Clarkson's going to dink the ball into the back post. Duke's there, but there's a great header behind for a corner by Hammer, because if he didn't head that, Duke had a free header on goal.
Yeah, I was barely finished my sentence in saying they take chances, and Friedrichsen, my goodness me, he tries to skip by Morris, who takes the ball off him, and this lovely touch from Clarkson to get away from Friedrichsen. Hangs up a lovely ball, it goes to the back stick, and ultimately Hammer needs to head out for a corner.
Yeah, that's good play from Aberdeen, and there's plenty of intensity in this match as Clarkson goes across to the far side to take the corner. He's ready to take it, right foot high, and it's right on top of the goalkeeper this time. Takes it very comfortably, and he looks to get on with things quickly, and in fact he's been given a free kick because a few Aberdeen players stood in his way. There didn't seem to be much in that, but there's a free kicks taken quickly out to the far side. Sandberg, the right back, he's looking for options. He's got loads of time and space. He's up to just about halfway, gives it infield to Gustafsson, who tries the first time pass in behind, but it's cut out by McKenzie, who goes back to Roos, the goalkeeper, who sends it long. It's now with Hammer, who helps it along his back line. Again, it's not the best pass, as Hovland has to scramble across and then go back to his goalkeeper. And that will give Aberdeen encouragement. And you can see Duncan, the wing back, straight up on the full back as he tries to receive the ball, but Layuni has fetched it infield for Riegaard midway through his own half, but he's been pursued all the way by Clarkson, and Häcken are just being forced all the way back to the goalkeeper. Abrahamsson is on box, under pressure from Duke, clears it long. Shinnie gets the head to it in the middle of the pitch, falls for Friedrichsen, moves it infield now to Amani, who's going to play it up to Hurstich, whose touch is poor, and that'll go break kindly for Jack McKenzie, who goes back to Roos, who's under pressure from Sadiq, who then moves it away to McKenzie. And both teams putting pressure on high up the pitch, Rory.
Yes, Aberdeen are, and they did it very, very well there to good effect. Didn't give Häcken a minute, and eventually they've got the ball back. They'll be looking to make something happen themselves.
Goalless as we approach the 16th minute here in Gothenburg at the Bravida Arena, Europa League playoff first leg. Aberdeen looking to get to the group stages, or at least get half the job done here before the return at Pittodrie next week. Here's Clarkson, right hand side. He's given it infield to Shinnie, whose touch is just heavy. He does get there in the end, and then he gets it back from Polvara, but the pass was just overhit from the midfielder, and it allowed Abrahamsson, the goalkeeper, to dive on it at the edge of his 6-yard box. But after maybe a shaky start, Aberdeen have grown into the game, but now it's Häcken who come forward with Riegaard. They just don't stop here, and Hurstich receives the pass, tries to prod it round to Amani, and it's a free kick being given. Nicky Devlin is absolutely baffled. Hurstich hit the deck. I didn't see much, I have to admit, Rory, and the yellow cards coming out as well. Well, Aberdeen players are totally and utterly bemused here.
Yeah, I have to say I am as well, because it looked like a clean tackle. We'll see it again here. The ball came in and it was a poor touch. It gets away from him. I mean, he barely touches him. It may be a foul. It's certainly not a yellow card. Bounces off his foot. It's not. Rubezic dives in. He does stand on his foot and catch him. Yes, okay. You know, on second, third viewing, it is a free kick. It's not a yellow card. Very, very harsh booking. Yeah,
he was off balance as he tried to win the ball cleanly, and then when he looked to rebalance himself, he almost stood on the foot of the Häcken player. Hurstich, the Serbian striker, who's got 3 goals in just 4 appearances since signing at the start of the month, just 20-year-old. He's actually well acquainted with Rubezic, played against each other in the Serbian top flight last season. The time they did come up against each other, it was Hrstic's side, Spartak Subotica, who came out on top 2-0, though he didn't score. And this is a good opportunity for Häcken here. It's about 20 to 25 yards out, maybe, just to the left of the D. And Gustafsson, the captain, is over it, as is Riegaard, who's maybe going to think about whipping this to the back post. Gustafsson may take the shot on with the right foot. They're having a conversation, waiting for the referee, who blows the whistle, and it's going to be the left foot of Riegaard to cross one of the back posts, but it's extremely poor. It's over everyone and straight behind for a goal kick. Well, they took a long time, Rory, but that one wasn't up to much. It
wasn't, and Barry Robson will be breathing a sigh of relief, because it was well disguised, I must say. Really well disguised. And some of the Häcken players got a run on the Aberdeen defenders. Luckily it was overhit. One area of weakness for Häcken, in my opinion, Valgeir Friedrichsen does not look like a comfortable and natural left back, and Morris is in acres of space consistently, so need to keep coming out Morris's side.
Well, it's a goal kick to Aberdeen. Kelroos takes it long up towards Morris, who's right on top of Fredriksson, who wins the header. Back to Clarkson, who helps it forward. Miofsky controls it on the chest on the edge of the box. He's get it back. Here's Dante Polvara in the box. Miofsky, shot blocked behind for a corner. Good play from Aberdeen.
It's like a game of basketball, this, Thomas. It's a really good game of football, especially for a first leg, which can be cagey. Bojan Miofsky is a good finisher, and I think he had opportunities to pull the trigger earlier. He didn't do it. Does result in the corner.
Well, it's very even in this opening 19 minutes, and Aberdeen with their third corner of the match. And they'll get bodies into the box. Devlin runs across the back post, and Hovland had to head it away inside the 6-yard box for Häcken. Dukes fetched it on the far touchline. He's going to take on the Häcken player. Twists back, twists again, gets into the box. He's hauled down right on the edge of the box. The referee says no, then he tries to cross, headed away to the edge of the box. Polvara takes a touch, but it's heavy, and Häcken turn the ball over. Here's Layuni inside his own half. The left winger goes with a left-footed pass towards Sadiq. McKenzie wins the header ahead of the Häcken forward Sadiq, and it's out for a throw-in just on halfway.
Yeah, I don't know if either manager will be enjoying this particularly, because as much as their teams look good at times offensively, you know, both teams are getting corners, creating chances, having joy in wide areas, and it's not calmed down any, and we've hit the 20-minute mark.
Still goalless here. I'm listening to Sports Sounds. Europa League playoff action. Häcken hosting Aberdeen in the first leg of this Europa League playoff round. Here's Abrahamsson, a couple of caps for Sweden, the 35-year-old. 2020 was the last of them. He's got good experience as he sends it long. Rubezic gets in ahead of Hrstic. His compatriot then tries to play it over the top to Miofsky. It's cut out. It comes back to Hrstic. Rubezic gets back. Hrstic plays it out to this left-hand side. And Layuni, who's surging forward, is pursued by Shinnie. Cross blocked by Devlin. Throw in Häcken just in front of us, in front of the main stand. On this left-hand side, Layuni goes quickly, throws it back to Fredriksson, the left back. Moves it infield to Gustafsson, the captain. Into Rigor. Twists and turns, tries to get away from Shinnie and Polvara. He's managed to, and he's closed down, moves it to Almani. Here's Gustafsson. Pass through the lines to Sadiq, who's lining up the shot from 20 yards, and it's flashed past Roos's post. He didn't have to move too much, the Aberdeen goalkeeper. He watched it all the way, and it went harmlessly by him.
Yeah, Almani and Sadiq are able to pick up these types of positions, which I've spoken about, you know, 20, 25 yards out, able to turn on the ball far too easily. Clarkson and Shinnie need to work out who's going to mark him and take him, because Shinnie did great work down this right-hand side to stop an attack. You just need to try and work a way to stop that happening, because it's very dangerous, and one of these times Sadiq will catch one of these shots.
Roos with the goal kick, it's low, and he's found Duncan right on the left-hand touchline, just inside the Aberdeen half. Duncan looks for the ball long up to the edge of the box, and Miofsky and his Abrahamsson came from it, and the defender didn't know what he was doing there and got a touch to it, and he sent it almost over his goalkeeper and behind for a corner.
Yeah, he doesn't look sure of himself at all, Abrahamsson. He really doesn't.
Yeah, he's been asked to play out with his feet a lot, and he was nowhere near it, and the defender in the end just had to deal with it. And Leighton Clarkson will have another chance on that far side to cross in and test the Häcken defence inside their own penalty area. Here goes Clarkson. He's gone to the back post again, and it's over everyone again, and out on the other side. It's clearly a tactic that keeps whipping it to that back post, but not managed to cause too many problems so far.
No, it hasn't, and that'll frustrate Barry Robson, because when they have put good quality in the box, it's caused a few problems.
Long ball from Häcken. Sadiq's plucked it out of the sky brilliantly, but McKenzie defends really well, watched the ball all the way, made the tackle, puts it out for a throw-in on the far side. Häcken not hanging around with the throw-ins, taking quickly. Here's Hammer at the back inside his own half, moves it across the halfway line to Rigor, who plays it forward to Amani, infield to Gustafsson, out to the far touchline, and Sandberg, the fullback, who's up. He's got Sadiq to his right, gives him it. Now he'll look to take on Duncan. No, he moves it infield to Amani, and then back to Gustafsson. Häcken just trying to build up patiently, back out to this right-hand side. Here's Sadiq, he's got space to cross, but it's blocked by Duncan. Rolls all the way back to Hammer, the centre half, who's well into Aberdeen territory. Moves it to Hovland, out to the left-hand side, and Fredriksson. Morris is on him, but Fredriksson jinks in on the right foot, and then he's looking for the run of Amani. He's found him just inside the area, turns away from Shinnie, who recovers really well and gets a sliding tackle in, away to safety for Aberdeen. And now Fredriksson The Häcken fullback with it, up the touchline to Layuni. He's moving up towards the corner of the box. The Tunisian winger infield to Rigard, who moves away from Shinnie and then just hits the deck, and the referee just tells him to get up, and Aberdeen will counter. Here's Duke. He's got it over halfway. It's just him and Miovski in the Häcken half at the moment. He's waiting for support. Duke, he's going to take on Sandberg, the fullback. He gets into the box. That's brilliant from Duke. Flashes it across goal. Or he would have done. Miovski was at the back post, but the defender was there to intercept and clear. Shinnie heads it looking for Duncan, but it's out on the far side for a Häcken throw-in. 24 played, still goalless.
Yeah, and Shinnie's asking the question to the referee. It was clear simulation from the Häcken player. However, Aberdeen took advantage and got up the other end. Good play from Duke. Attacking. It's end-to-end this game, it really is. It's fantastic to watch.
Absolutely. Europa League playoff action. Hearts in Conference League playoff action against Pauk at Tynecastle. Commentary to come, but Aberdeen. Here's Polvara on the edge of the box, blocked by Hammer. Great strike from Polvara. Aberdeen trying to press and turn the ball over in high areas, and then Miovski commits the foul on Amani on the edge of his own box, which was a bit unnecessary because Häcken were under all sorts of pressure there.
Yes, they were, and it all comes from Graham Shinnie, squeezing the ball high up the pitch, nicking in, getting it off the midfield player. Does really, really well. Polvara hits it straight at the defender.
And the referee's come across and he's booked Barry Robson. The Aberdeen manager goes in the book. The referee, Slovakian referee, wanders across. I don't know, Barry Robson's shrugging his shoulders. He's having a laugh to his bench. He doesn't know why he's been booked, but he has. We know that UEFA are clamping down on touchline behaviour this season. It's one of their big things. Is again, Häcken tried to go out from the back. Abrahamsen gets it back off Gustafsson, then it's deflected off a Häcken defender in their own box, and they're taking so many chances. If that fallen to a red shirt, it could have been a goal there. And again, still Miovski trying to put the pressure on as Gustafsson tries to play it from the edge of his own box. Polvara's there to close him down. He's very calmly knocks it back, and it's back to the goalkeeper again as Duke comes across, and eventually the goalkeeper has to clear it down the field. Devlin intercepts. It's up to Polvara again on the edge of the box, tries to work space for the shot, and he's gone in late there. And Polvara, who's already been booked, I think, has he? He doesn't get into trouble this time. That was a late one. He just miscontrolled it on the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think it was Rubizic that went into the book earlier. However, just coming away from that, Polvara's touches let him down in really good areas twice now. Just gets away from him, and I have to say, he goes in wildly after a poor touch. That is a fair yellow card, that one. However, his touch, if it was a little bit better at times, it would have created huge opportunities for Aberdeen.
Well, he's a player reborn almost this season. I don't think many Aberdeen fans would have expected him to be starting a game like this last season, but he's come in, and the coaching staff have obviously worked for him, and he's been in the thick of the action.
Let me tell you, Thomas, Peter Abrahamsen cannot play with the ball at his feet. He's not comfortable and he's nervous, and Aberdeen will make him make a mistake at some point. Here's
Sadiq though on the right hand side of the Aberdeen box. He's come in field, jinks away from McKenzie. That's brilliant from Sadiq. Roos makes the save at his near post. Fantastic play from the little Ghanaian winger. He is fantastic. He's electric with the ball at his feet. 17 goals this season, and Roos had to stop him, making it 18 there. And now here's Gustafsson, middle of the Aberdeen half, and Rubizic is tussling with Hrstić, and the referee's not interested as the striker hits the deck, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side. Still goalless, 27 played, and that's a good tussle between two Serbians, Rubizic and Hrstić.
It is indeed. Just coming away from them and go back to Sadiq. He's unbelievably sharp off the mark, and he's given Jack McKenzie a little bit of a hard time at times, although he's done well against him there. Yeah, a little bit of strength from Jack McKenzie, and then took the ball very cleanly, and it goes back to Roos, who goes long, headed by Häcken to the feet of Rigard, then on to Gustafsson, who's helped it to Hovland, who's put his foot through it, but it's a lovely pass out to Layuni on this left hand side. Devlin gets a good foot in, but Layuni will scamper back and fetch the ball, gives it into Amani, who's thinking about the switch, but then goes back to the halfway line. Gustafsson receives his pass. Here's Hammer, the centre half, takes a touch away from Duke, and then he goes back to Hovland, who's gone through the lines very nicely with a pass to Hammer, gives it to Amani. Häcken with full of intent to just play, and here's Amani working his way up towards the edge of the D in the Aberdeen box. Rigard is in the middle of the pitch, out to Sandberg, who's up from right back. He's got space to get a cross in, and Rubizic has to half clear it inside his own box, and then McKenzie boots it away. Häcken baring their teeth here. They're willing to take risks at the back. They play out
And when they get it right, it's paying dividends. Here's Rygaard. Shinnie gets in, really good tackle. Miofsky will chase, but Hovland gets there. There's a coming together between Miofsky and Hovland, but it's broken for Amani, who's running up towards the edge of the Aberdeen boxes. Tries to play Hurstich. It's just deflected away from the striker, and Morris clears. Aberdeen under a bit of pressure here. 29 played, 0-0. Hovland, the centre-back of Häcken. The ball moves it onto Hammer, who crosses the halfway line. He's into the Aberdeen half, and he's going to take this a run here, and he eventually chops it away to Gustafsson, into Rygaard. Under pressure from Duncan. Goes up in the air after that Duncan tackle. Shinnie heads it, but only as far as Friedrichsen. Now Amani's picked up. He's given it back to Friedrichsen, who takes it round Devlin. He's into the box. He hits the deck. There's appeals for a penalty, but he's going to be told to get up, and it's a handball that he's been penalised for. Friedrichsen, that he hit the deck rather easily there. Or maybe I'm being harsh, but he certainly...
Well, it was a good period of play for Häcken, that's for sure. Amani's causing all sorts of problems in that area, the middle area of the pitch. He really is. Shinnie and Clarkson are struggling to deal with him, and he's the hub of everything they've done well. And I think there's a little bit of frustration on the pitch as to how to fix that problem, because it's still not been fixed. However, up the other end, Aberdeen look just as dangerous.
Here's Clarkson. He's dropped very deep into his own half to receive the ball. He gives it to Rubezic, who takes a touch away from Hurstich out towards the touchline, and then he's put it out under pressure. That's a bit sloppy from the Aberdeen centre back. Well, it's actually, he's got away with it because Hurstich must have got a touch in there, because in fact he's given the free kick, the referee, to Rubezic for the push. So my apologies for the criticism of Slobodan Rubezic here. He did well to run away from Hurstich and draw the free kick. Now they go long Aberdeen. Friedrichsen though gets the header ahead of Morris. Polvara will pick up on this touchline. He'll let it go out for a throw to Aberdeen as Devlin picks up the ball in front of the Aberdeen dugout, throws it on this near side to the feet of Clarkson, who runs away from Layuni, tries the pass to the feet of Shinnie, but it's picked off by Sandberg, then Rygaard, then Gustafsson. Now Häcken are into Aberdeen territory. Sandberg up to the corner of the box, looks for the cross, and again Rubezic read it, watched it at the near post and sticks it behind for a corner. But both teams, when they turn over possession, Rory, they're just going forward, no hesitation.
No, they are. However, Clarkson, who for me has been very good for Aberdeen in terms of moving forward, gives up possession far too easily there under no pressure whatsoever. And at this level, you will get punished.
Corner. Mikael Rygaard, the Danish midfielder, is going to take. Scored in the first leg away in Vilnius in the last round. And he's going to take it with a left foot into the near post. And Friedrichsen peeled away from his marker. Got a free header. But he didn't control it. Went well over the goal.
Yeah, well, Friedrichsen starting on Kellerus, the goalkeeper. He's standing there and he's wanting to push him. And Graham Shinnie trying to get him away, and he pulled off the goalkeeper there and got a good header on it, but it went miles over.
Well, it looks like the referee, there's going to be some issue with it. I think the linesman, is the linesman injured here? Because one of the other officials has just take off his warm-up jersey, and is he going to come on and run the line? The linesman's day is done by the look of it. That's my reading of this situation as they hand the flag about here in front of us, in front of the main stand. An injury to one of the officials.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. More interested in looking at Barry Robson and also Per Mathias Hogmo to see what they're trying to communicate to their players. I think Jack McKenzie, they're chatting to him, giving him a bit of advice on Sadiq and how to deal with him.
Yeah, the players are just taking the opportunity as one of the officials, fourth official, come in and run the line. I think they're handing about microphones and all the rest of it. Let's go to Willie Miller back in Aberdeen for his thoughts on what he's seen in this opening half hour. Willie.
Yeah, pretty good. Well impressed with the tactics that's being employed. I think Barry Robson's obviously asking his players to, a little bit similar to the Celtic game, to try and put high pressure on and not allow them to pass the ball at the back. They've went forward and they've got bodies forward, Aberdeen, and they've had two or three moments that could have been very productive. On the other side, I think Sadiq is your man to try and pin down. Ryan Duncan is struggling with him out there in that left back area, and he looks a real player. He looks a player that can certainly cause Ryan Duncan problems and issues, and I wouldn't be surprised if Barry Robson thinking a little bit about that maybe at half time. But I think so far I don't think there's much in the game. I think it's pretty even. It's a very decent game of football and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Well, thanks Willie. More from Willie at half time, and we're ready to resume here after that official change. The linesman changed for the fourth official, an injury or something there as Kelroos goes long. Leighton Clarkson picks up on halfway, gives it back to Nicky Devlin. He's in his own half, he's under a bit of pressure, gets it away to Clarkson, who plays it first time, but it doesn't reach Morris. Instead it goes to Friedrichsen, who moves it to Rygaard, who gives it back to Friedrichsen first time. He's got a bit of space in front of him, the Icelandic international. Over halfway, his pass is cut out by Clarkson, who then tries to follow up with a challenge, but it's back with Häcken. Gustafsson, the captain, moves it across to Sandberg. And now here's Sadiq, and he's going to have the opportunity up towards the edge of the box on the right hand side. He's going to run at McKenzie. He's going to try and take him down the line, but that is excellent defending from Jack McKenzie. Stood his ground, and Sadiq just ended up knocking it behind for a goal kick.
Yes, so the words of wisdom from Barry Robson during that little break as the linesman was changed over worked. He stood up, he showed him down the line, and Sadiq kicked it out the pitch. However, he's going to need to keep him quiet for most of the night because, as Willie just said, him and a couple others are their danger men. Amani in midfield, I think, has been very good as well.
Roos goes long. Polvara challenges, won by Hammer to the feet of Amani. It's been really impressive, the 20-year-old midfielder. Lovely touch away to Sandberg, who's always willing to get up that right-hand touchline, but Clarkson's won it just inside his own half, facing his own goal. Tries to hold off Sandberg. He's trying to hold it again. He has another bite at him. The Häcken defender does get it away to Rubizic and then tries the pass into the feet of Majowski, but it was behind him and it'll run harmlessly through down for a throw-in to Häcken in line with the edge of their own penalty area. And it's still goalless, 35.5 played here at the Bravida Arena in this Europa League playoff first leg. As Häcken goes short, and Hammer hesitated briefly there. Häcken managed to play out, long ball to Amani, touches it away to Rygaard, and Layuni's got a bit of space on this left-hand side if they can find him. Instead they go to Amani, who's striding through the middle of the pitch. Sadiq in space up to the edge of the box. Rubizic goes across, it's to the back post. Here's Layuni, 1-0 Häcken. It's lethal on the break from the Swedish champions. Amani through the middle of the pitch, out to the right-hand side, cross to the back post, and Layuni took one touch and swept it past Kelroos for his 6th goal in 11 Häcken appearances. It's been a fantastic contest so far, but Häcken strike first, 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is good decision making at its absolute finest. 4-on-4 at the back. I've been saying it all game. Amani's running, he runs off the back of Graham Shinney, gets his body shape all wrong, out to Sadiq, picks out Lurani at the back post, and that is a cool finish. 1-0 Häcken. There was a goal in this game. Unfortunately, it's went to Häcken, but that is a tremendous goal, I must say.
Well, I was watching Amor Layuni warm up, and he was just finishing from that exact position, that angle of the box out to the back post, taking a touch and putting it by the goalkeeper, and he didn't really miss one. He looks calm, composed.
Yeah, and there's many players in Sadiq's position who would have thrashed at that and tried to score a goal. He didn't panic. He lifted his head and picked out his teammate at the back post. But I'll say it again, Amani in the middle of the pitch is causing that midfield all sorts of problems.
Yeah, he sparked it with a driving run through the heart of the Aberdeen midfield and into their territory, and now Aberdeen are up against it. I can't get too disheartened. They've had their moments in this first half, but Häcken showing exactly why we were bigging them up as a free scoring team, especially here at home, because they play and they get bodies forward and they have players who can really hurt you, as they just did. And Aberdeen need to work their way back into the game, but Morris has given it away, and Gustafsson's going to look for Sadiq in behind. He's away from McKenzie, he's out on the left hand side. McKenzie's put the challenge in, and the referee has awarded the goal kick.
He gets the ball,
and Sadiq's still on the deck. He thinks it was a penalty all day long, but the referee is going over to the Häcken players and saying he got the ball, no penalty. There is VAR in operation as we just look at the replay here, Rory. And well, he almost pulls out, and then it looked like he got the ball in real time.
And my first thought was that he got the ball. Having watched that again, we do have screens here. It looks almost like he overruns it. McKenzie does put his foot in and pulls it away. Be interesting to see if there is a check. My initial thought was he definitely got the ball because it changed direction.
Well, there will be a check because there always is. It's whether the referee gets called across. There's a halt in play because the VAR officials from Poland are looking at this one, and this is concerning for Aberdeen. They've just gone 1-0 down to Amor Layuni's strike, and Jack McKenzie on Sadiq. That challenge, it's a tight one, and we're still waiting. The referee is getting, well, we get communication from the VAR booth about what's to come next, and it's play on as the Aberdeen fans behind the goal to our right celebrate.
Yes, I think that's the right decision. I don't think there's enough in it for a penalty. The ball changes direction, whether that's Sadiq's touch, whether that's McKenzie putting pressure on him, I don't know, but I just don't think there's enough to give a penalty there. I don't think it's clear and obvious.
On we go. Hrstić, the Serbian striker, up against his countryman Rubezic and gets the free kick. Just pinned him there on halfway, and Häcken don't hang about. Gustafsson looks for the pass, gives it to Sandberg, gets it back on halfway. Samuel Gustafsson, experience of playing in Serie A, come back to the club which he started his career at, and his form with Häcken has earned him a call-up to the Sweden squad in the last year, and he's been a regular, 7 caps since. Quality player. Here he is in his own half on the edge of the centre circle, pursued by Polvara, gives it to Sandberg on the far side. He goes back to Hammer, plays it back to Abrahamsson, the goalkeeper, who's under a bit of pressure from Duk, and then it's a shot when it falls for Duk, saved by Abrahamsson. Well, that's an example of Häcken taking a chance. It didn't go well, and it fell for Duk, who looks frustrated. It just fell for him and he prodded it towards goal, but Abrahamsson made himself big and made the save.
Yeah, he's got to score at this level of football. He's got to put that away. He's 1-on-1 with the goalie, 10 yards out. He's got to slot it home like Häcken did up the other end, but great pressure from Shinnie to win the ball initially and get the ball to Duk.
Here's Duncan, far side, looks for Duk. It's going to go all the way through to Abrahamsson, but that's the encouragement for Aberdeen, Rory, because Häcken, as brilliant as some of their play has been, they are there for the taking if he can press right. But here's a long ball for Hrstić. Flag stayed down, but Nicky Devlin gets back to tackle him, and the ball goes through to Kel Roos. Good defending from Nicky Devlin. Bailed out his teammates there because they'd let Hrstić get in behind.
Yeah, they did. But to go back to what you were saying before, I think there's a lot there to be positive about for Aberdeen. I think they'll continue to create chances. They just need to put one of them away.
Sadiq tries to jink away from Duncan, and he's moved it in field magnificently, and then moves it to Amani, who has been fantastic in this first half, just 20 years old. And here he goes again, dribbling away from Clarkson, still got it, moves it to the right-hand side in Sandberg. He's about 30 yards from goal, infield to Sadiq, back to Gustafsson, who's inside the centre circle now, twisting and turning away from Polvara, who's closing down like a demon, but not managing to win the ball. And here's Rygaard round the corner, Gustafsson.
Manny's off Shinnie again.
Out to the right-hand side, and here's Sadiq. Moves it out to Sandberg, the right back. He's hugging the touchline. Passes infield to Sadiq. And Rygaard round the corner. Tried the little first time ball round the corner, but Rubezic intercepted. And now Polvara can come up towards the halfway line for Aberdeen. Shaden Morris is going to go in the overlap. Clarkson moves it to Miofsky. Right hand side, corner of the box for Aberdeen. Looks to take on the Layuni, who tracks back and gets a foot in really nicely on Boja Miofsky. Fantastic tackle from the winger, who's put Häcken in front, but showing he can do both sides of the game.
Yes, indeed. He gets back really, really well there and makes the tackle. So he does. And go back to earlier, it's not a criticism of Graeme Shinnie. He's been at the centre of a lot that's been good about Aberdeen.
As Sadiq switches play out to this left-hand side again. Layuni's in the box, puts it right across. Sadiq will get the no, he won't, and it's a just crucial interception from McKenzie. Got a toe poke in front of Sadiq, and if he hadn't, the winger was coming in field for a strike at Kel Roos.
Yes, he was. It was fantastic defending from McKenzie. In the last kind of 10 minutes or so, the opening half hour was end to end. It's very much turned into Häcken on top and Aberdeen trying to play in the counter-attack.
43 minutes played here. Häcken leading Aberdeen by a goal to nil. Here's Clarkson, flag up against him. Amor Layuni's goal after 36 minutes is the difference between the sides. It's been keenly fought though. And here's Amani striding forward over halfway, gets it back from Layuni in field, but Shinnie this time tracks him all the way and gets a foot in and tackles him. And now the Aberdeen captain's driving forward and wins a free kick as Layuni barges him to the deck. And Shinnie's looking to get on with this, but Hrstić stands in the way. Eventually Shinnie gives it to Clarkson out on this right hand side. Morris moving up towards the corner of the box. He's going to try and run Friedrichsen, tries to cross, it's blocked, gets it back right hand side, gives it to Devlin, who flashes the low cross towards the near post, defended by Hovland. Miofsky was lurking. Corner Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's a good move, really good move. And like I said, it starts from Shinnie winning the ball. I think they're outnumbered in the middle of the pitch, and at times Shinnie's having to mark 2-3 people at a time to try and win the ball. He wins the ball back really well there, builds on the attack, and they get the corner. They need to make the most of this.
Aberdeen corner on this near side, and a chance to strike back. It's actually a throw in, we can't even see over there. It's a long throw, I beg your pardon, which is flung in, dealt with by Häcken. Out to Duncan, who goes for the shot. Oh, it was ambitious, 30 yards out. Wasn't a million miles away, but Abrahamsson didn't have to make a save.
No, he didn't. I think he just opened up for him and he thought, why not? Pull the trigger, see what happens. He's never going to trouble the goalkeeper, Abrahamsson, who seems a much better shot stopper than he does a football player, I must say.
And he's got the ball at his feet here to take the goal kick. And his defenders said they've had enough. They're going to go long this time. No risks as we tick towards the 45 minutes. There will be time added. We had an official change. The linesman took an injury or some ill health. It's 3 minutes, in fact. The fourth official has stuck the board up. 3 minutes of added time in this first half at the Bravida Arena in Gothenburg. Aberdeen trailing the Swedish champions Häcken by 1-0. They haven't played badly though, but they are well aware of what Häcken bring as a side. Quick passing football, pace and goals up front. As Aberdeen try and play out, it's up to Duke. He's in his own half, just inside. He's trying to twist and turn. He's been fairly quiet, Duke, and he's muscled out. Here's Amani on halfway for Häcken. He's got Polvara in front of him. Goes back to Hovland, who looks up. He's going to switch it out to Lajuni, the goal scorer. Controls it on the chest on the left-hand touchline. He's moved it infield to Gustafsson, who made the run. A little flick around the corner to Amani. He's got space to shoot far out, and it swerves well wide of Kjell Roos's goal. But again, good interplay from Häcken, Rory.
Yeah, they've got good rotation in the middle of the pitch. Amani, Gustafsson and Rygaard, all very good footballers. You can see that, and you can see that the coach has been working on how they want to play. And they get the switches of play in, they shuffle Aberdeen across, and then they've got the spare men coming through the middle of the pitch. And it's difficult for Aberdeen, it really is. So Aberdeen need to try and get in at half-time 1-0 down and just try and find out a way to deal with it and work it out.
2 minutes of the 3 added to play in the first half here. Here's Morris. He's in Häcken territory. He's in the middle of the pitch though. He's looking for support. Devlin arrives, right hand side. He's trying to work space for the cross, but Friedrichsen defends, gives it back to Morris, who again doesn't really have space for the cross. He twists and turns back to Clarkson and back to Morris. Right hand side, does get the cross in this time. It flashes for Miofsky. Oh, it's Polvara in fact. Came off his head, came at him really quickly, got something on it, but it spun away from the target.
Yeah, it was just a little bit behind him in terms of Polvara. He didn't have the neck muscles to generate a powerful header on target. He tries to almost flick it onto Duke, but it doesn't make it.
Abrahamsson will go long. Rubizic will go up and win the header ahead of Hrstić, but it falls for Amani, who is just on the end of everything that falls in midfield. Switch of play out to the left hand side. Lajuni brings it down, crosses it to the front post where Sadiq made a run and headed it just over the bar. Another warning sign for Aberdeen. This front three are full of life.
Yeah, Thomas, you've previously said that there's a lot of big teams in Sweden, so it's impressive for this team to have won the league, and you can see why and how they've won it now with their quick, fast-flowing football. The ball comes out to the goal scorer, Leone. He looks up and almost telepathically knows where Sadiq is in the box, and Sadiq makes that run across the front post, right across Rubizic, and he should do better, to be honest with you.
What's even more impressive is Lajuni and Hrstić, the centre forward. They've only come in the door in the last 6 or 7 weeks, the pair of them. They've already got goals and already combining so well with each other. Here's Shinnie on halfway infield for Clarkson. Takes it into the Häcken half. He's looking for support and he's going to have to try a ball up to Miofsky, but it was nowhere near the Macedonian striker. Straight through to Abrahamsson, who will just eat up the final seconds of the first half. And Per Mathias Hogmo, the Häcken boss, applauds his players thunderously. He's impressed with what he's seen in the first half, as myself and Rory Loy have been. because the Swedish champions have been excellent. They've moved the ball quickly at speed. Sadiq on the far side has been a real threat, and he was involved in the only goal of this first half. A break from midfield. Amani surged through the Aberdeen midfield line, moved it out to Sadiq on the right hand side. He put a brilliant cross to the back post where Layuni was waiting. He took one touch and swept it beyond Kelroos, and that is the difference between these sides at the break. Aberdeen have had some opportunities. They've had corners. That quality into the box hasn't been amazing. Duke had a really good chance that was saved, and Paul Vara, if his first touch had been better, might have had a couple of strikes on target. But as it is, Aberdeen up against it in this Europa League playoff first leg here in Gothenburg. It is BK Häcken 1, Aberdeen 0 at the break.
Well, right now you're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. We're in the process of bringing you a European double-header, 7:45 kick-off at Tynecastle. We'll get there shortly. It's the Conference League, of course, the qualifier and the playoff round. Hearts against PAOK. We'll get to commentary there as soon as our first game finishes. It's currently being played out in Sweden. Half-time, Häcken 1. Aberdeen 0. Back to our commentary team in good time for the second half. Willie Miller with me here in the Aberdeen studio. Your thoughts on the opening 45, Willie?
I think merely confidence has kind of disappeared a little bit, Richard. I think the first 25 minutes was particularly good for Aberdeen. It was a game that was going from end to end, and Aberdeen, looked as threatening as Häcken did. But, for the last 20 minutes, I think Häcken has taken control and obviously getting the goal, and at times Aberdeen are so spread out at the back. I'm struggling to understand and cope with the fact that Häcken play 3 up, and Barry Robson's quite happy to allow the 3 central defenders to take care of the 3, and the 2 wing backs are way into a midfield area, even further than a midfield area at times, which is great for open football if that's what you're into. Personally, I would like to see Aberdeen defending a little bit deeper and making it more difficult for the Häcken front 3, because at times they've been ripped apart. The goal, it was 4v2 in favour of Häcken on the break, which, my opinion, just shouldn't be happening. You've got to be organised, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to understand the threat that this team pose, the quickness of Sadiq in particular. Layuni's a threat as well on the other side, and when the opposition are playing 3 up top, it's very dangerous, to play with just 3 central defenders. It reminds me a little bit of the Ibrox game last season under Jim Goodwin, when Rangers played 3 up and Aberdeen just went with almost the 2 centre backs playing like full backs, and they were ripped open in the first half. And it seems to be the same kind of acceptance that we're going to give them. We're going to go toe to toe with this team. We're going to concentrate on going forward. You do that, you leave yourself exposed at times. 3v3, big spaces in the wide areas in particular where Aberdeen are being exposed, and Häcken have created a number of opportunities for themselves. It could be a couple of goals are down at half time. So I'm not too sure, Barry will have a think about it at half time and be a little bit more defensive in the second half. My personal opinion is that I think they need to do that. I think if you can do that, make it difficult for Häcken. There's still plenty going forward. Big chance for Aberdeen with Duke, wasn't it? And that came from the Aberdeen high press and Häcken thinking that they're going to get time to play out at the back, and Aberdeen not giving them that time, and it falls to Duke. Now he should score. It's a huge opportunity for him. It's a big chance. It's not really anything creative in terms of Aberdeen's concerned. It's more about that high press, but it was a big opportunity and he didn't take it. But for me, I think if Aberdeen continue with the same tactics, leaving the 3v3 at the back, then I can only see Häcken adding to the scoreline in the second half. But I'm hoping that Barry plays a little bit more cautious and gets the 2 wing backs a little bit deeper, Duncan and Morris just a little bit deeper, just to cover that space and not allow the 3v3 situation to occur on too many occasions in the second half.
That high press you talked about, very similar, as you mentioned, to what we saw against Celtic. And it's fine in the sense that it almost, it did create a wonderful chance when Shinnie got there and fed it to Lopez, who really should have done better in the box. But what I suppose it does do, if you push that high up, it does leave you susceptible to that counter-attack. And if you don't have the numbers back, as we've seen, when they scored that goal, we were shouting, "Where's Mackenzie?" But then you realise he's not the only one posted missing. There are about 3 others who weren't in
absolutely.
position.
Yeah, it was totally disjointed. I think you can still do the high press with the 3 midfield players, but I think you've at least got to have one of the wing backs being a little bit deeper and giving a little bit cover, so that you've got 4v3 at the back at times. I think leaving it 3v3 with the quality of player that Häcken have got, then you're asking for trouble. So you can still do the high press with the 3 midfield players and the two strikers, but for me, defensively, I think the wing backs are way out of position.
Right, we'll get back to Willie and indeed live second half commentary in just a moment or two. Hearts, of course, looking to make it to the group stages of the Conference League. Aberdeen know they will be playing group stage football. If not in the Europa League, then they will drop then into the Conference League groups. But they'll want to be in the more prestigious tournament. As things stand, they're going to have to come from behind over the course of the leg. They're trailing to that Layuni goal for Häcken, which came 9 minutes before half-time. A few big chances for the Swedes. 1 or 2 for Aberdeen, and certainly one glaring opportunity for Lopez, which he spurned. Willie, just on tenterhooks to see if Aberdeen take a more pragmatic approach to this second half.
Yes, I think Barry Robson and his management team must be thinking about it. I mean, there is the option that you've got Jensen who could come on. They could go to a back 4 as well, which I think would be pretty productive against the Häcken 3. I don't think Ryan Duncan has taken part in the game. Certainly defensively he's been disappointing. Sadiq has went past him on a number of occasions, and he's left that side exposed. You could put Mackenzie to left back and get Jensen on alongside Rubizic as 2 centre backs, and Devlin, and he's more comfortable right back. I think that would be a positive move for Aberdeen, because I do feel that there is an awful lot of spaces in the wide areas that Häcken are exploiting. So I would imagine that it would be going through Barry Robson's mind that would be an option to him. We'll just have to wait and see if he takes that forward and makes any changes at all at half time. But he must be concerned the amount of chances that the home side have created.
Big chances, they've taken one of them, and that is why at half time they lead by 1-0. More from Willie later. Remember, later too will be at Tynecastle for that Hearts against PAOK Conference League qualifier. Right now the players back out, 1-0 for Häcken, as we return to commentary here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with Rory Loy and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Well, that was a mighty impressive first half from the Swedish champions Häcken. So good with the ball at their feet, and it's an impressive feat to become Swedish champions. They're a very small club here in Gothenburg, but they were one of the founders of a youth football tournament that's become massive in European football. They get some money from that, they reinvest it in their academy. That's how it started, and they've managed to slowly grow it to the point where they won their first Swedish Cup about 8 years ago. They've added another 2, including this season, culminating in the league title last season. It's a really good story for them. For Aberdeen, they need to try and find a way of combating what Häcken are putting out there in this second half. No changes at the break for either side, and of course both these teams have the consolation, it's more than consolation really, of group stage football. It would be the first time Häcken have ever reached the groups of European competition, or it will be, whether it's the Europa League or the Conference League, and of course Aberdeen will be in the Conference League even if they lose this tie. But that's not what they want, as Leighton Clarkson gets ready to kick us off. We're underway in the second half here at the Bravida Arena in Gothenburg, and Aberdeen with it all to do, Rory.
Yes, they do. They're going to want to try and score a goal themselves. However, they won't want to concede too many more. 1-0 isn't a disaster to go back to Pittodrie with, but anything more than that would make it very difficult.
As a long ball was too long for Ryan Duncan's run, and now Amani comes forward for Häcken. Cut out, Friedrichsen picks up the loose ball, and it's out to Sadiq. Right hand side of the box, he's come in field, left-footed shot straight at Roos. Another glimpse of what he's capable of, the young Ghanaian winger. You can see why he's being linked with bigger clubs. Fantastic feat.
Yeah, he's very quick, and he runs at Jack Mackenzie again. I do understand what Willie's saying about Duncan out on this side. He wants to keep his width and go forward, but he needs to help Mackenzie out at times.
Häcken win the battle in midfield, and Layuni on the far side moves out to Friedrichsen, who tries to go round Morris. Morris tracks back, gets a foot on the ball, and then it goes to the Aberdeen defence who play it forward first time. Häcken get back, Hovland goes back to Abrahamsson. Miofsky will chase down, but the goalkeeper gets it away. Here's Rygaard dropping deep in his own half, out to Sandberg, the right back, who crosses halfway. He's in acres of space, but he's then met really well by Ryan Duncan, and it breaks for Duke on this near touchline, left-hand side. He's looking for support. The Aberdeen forward comes in field, then switches it out to the edge of the box where Morris is. Can he work space for the shot? Blocked by Fridriksson. It's going to fall for Duncan, left corner of the box. Shinnie goes in the overlap, but Duncan crosses in. Hovland heads it up in the air. Morris loses out on the edge of the Häcken box, and then it's flicked round the corner by Sadiq, and Hrstić will try and go on the break, but Rubizic watched him and tackles brilliantly and comes away with the ball. Fantastic defending from the Aberdeen centre-back. Fires the pass into Duncan, just in front of us. Moves it to Polvara. Looks up, he's got space, he's in the centre circle in Häcken territory. Checks back, moves it back to Rubizic, who's looked more comfortable than he was on Friday night against Stirling Albion. And here's Devlin out to the far side. Morris comes back, the pink boots, fetches it on the touchline, moves it infield, and Aberdeen just trying to get some possession together, but Devlin's closed down by Layuni, almost loses it, but then turns away, sends it towards Duke, but Hovland heads it, and then here's Amani away to Gustafsson, the captain, who's running into the Aberdeen half, moves it to Layuni on the left-hand side. Devlin's going to go back and try and make the challenge, which he does, and it goes out for a throw-in right next to the corner flag, and in fact it's a goal kick. It's come back off Layuni, who puts his hands on his head. He can't believe it, but it's a goal kick to Aberdeen. Good defending from Devlin. In fact, it is a throw-in on that near side.
Yeah, it is. It was good defending in the end, and it ricocheted back off the Häcken player and went out for an Aberdeen throw. They break so quickly, so they do. Häcken. Aberdeen in comfortable possession 1 minute and on the back foot the next.
Throw-in's headed out, and Aberdeen will gain a few yards. Devlin trots up to take it. Aberdeen looking to join the likes of Liverpool in the group stages of the Europa League. Some big names in there. That's the prize on offer for these clubs, as Kjell Roos fires it out to Duncan, whose touch lets him down, and it's out for a throw-in to Häcken, who take it quickly. Sadiq to the feet of Sandberg. Gustafsson back to Hammer, the centre-back. Sandberg looks to get over the halfway line, does. He's going to switch the play with the right foot out towards Layuni, who's facing his own goal but controls it, gives it to Fridriksson. A couple of touches into Amani, gives it back first time, and Fridriksson just calms down and knocks it back to Hovland. Häcken very patient. Switch of play to Sandberg, touches it infield away from Duncan, and Rygaard spots a little gap, darts through it, and he gives it on to Hrstić, who miscontrols under pressure from Rubizic, and it goes through to Kjell Roos. 1-0 Häcken, 4 minutes played in this second half.
Yeah, they're looking stronger and stronger, Häcken, as this game's went on, as Kjell Roos, the last one straight out the pitch.
Yeah, I had no idea what Kjell Roos was thinking there. I think he was looking for Ryan Duncan, but he absolutely ballooned it, and now Häcken get on with it. Hrstić has come across with a run to this near side. He loses out again. He's lost a lot of those one-on-ones. It's the wide areas that Aberdeen have struggled in. Hrstić hasn't managed to do too much. Devlin clears it up the pitch. Miofsky flicks it to Polvara, and then it's a throw-in stabbed out on the far side to Häcken.
You're just looking for Miofsky to hold that up. It comes up to him there, so it does, from the defence, and you want him to be strong and hold the ball in and lay it off. Decides to try and play it first time and hands possession over.
That's a misplaced pass, and Duncan intercepts. He's at the left-hand side of the box, and he's played to Clarkson. Can he keep it in on the byline? He tries to squeeze the cross in. Hammer came across and blocked it, and Aberdeen will have the throw-in on this near side. Another example of Häcken taking a chance there. Pass out from the back, switch intercepted by Duncan, who will now take this throw. He's waiting for an option. Clarkson drops short, and he goes over the defender to Duke, who's worked some space on the touchline, tries to cross, blocked, corner Aberdeen, and they've got to make the most of these opportunities.
Yes, they do, and it doesn't look as if Willie Miller's got his wish. They don't look to be setting up any more pragmatic than they were in the first half, Aberdeen. But I do believe, and I tend to agree with Willie, if they are to do that, not majorly, just ever so slightly, they will still get chances, because Aberdeen's, a lot of the opportunities have come from Häcken mistakes.
Clarkson's corner, right foot. Again, he's looking for that back post. Miofsky goes up, gets something on it, but it was always heading wide of the target. And another opportunity goes begging. It was a difficult one for Miovski, Rory, but they're clearly targeting that back post area. And the referee's not happy with that goal kick. Asked him to take it again.
Yeah, he was never going to be able to generate the neck muscles to produce anything of note on target there, Miovski. He was right at the back post. He was under pressure from Fredriksson, who's well over 6 foot. So it was very difficult for him to get any sort of purchase on the ball there.
Lovely play out their own penalty area by Häcken, and then it's up to Sadiq, who flicks it first time round to Hrstić, who tries to play in Sadiq in behind, but again Rubezic got across and made a really good sliding block to make sure the ball went out for a throw-in rather than down to Sadiq on this right wing. And Sandberg will march up to take it, throws it back to Hammer, spreads it across to Hovland and out to Fredriksson on the left hand side. He's got space in his own half, threads the pass through for Gustafsson, who's first time fired it to the left touchline, where Lajuni steams forward. He crossed it in for Hrstić. McKenzie got across and manages to put the striker under enough pressure and gets a touch. Corner to Häcken.
The passages of play are tremendous, really good to watch. The rotation in the midfield, it goes out wide. It's very difficult for Aberdeen to stop because it happens so quickly, and the runs are so intelligent and the passes are so precise, and they get themselves another corner, Häcken.
52.5 played here in Gothenburg. Aberdeen trailing by 1-0 and under pressure here. Häcken corner. Rigor is out on the far side under the scoreboard, puts his hands up and he's going to take this, but then an Aberdeen player hits the deck in the middle of the penalty area and gets Rubezic down holding his face, and the referee stops play and the players form a committee around him. A few words being exchanged. Graham Shinney's in there. I think it's Rubezic who took a sore one.
It's Nicky Devlin.
That's Devlin, yeah, you can see through the bodies on the glass panel in front of us. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but he's back on his feet, and the corner.
Looked to me like they were just jockeying for position. He was maybe caught by a flailing arm, but I don't think there was anything malicious in it.
Indeed, the referee's still having a word with Nicky Devlin and Johan Hammer as Häcken prepare to finally take this corner on the far side. And the referee finally blows the whistle and they go short. Here's Rigard, gives it to Gustafsson. Sadiq, edge of the box, thinks about the shot, then checks away from Morris, up to the edge of the area, out to Rigard, left-footed cross into the box, header over from Fredriksson. Again, Aberdeen struggling to cope with just the pace of the balls moving.
Yeah, but it's difficult to be as sympathetic in that occasion because they've worked that corner 3 times and they've done the same rotation 3 times. It's went short, it's went back to the corner taker, then out to the edge of the box, and the ball's been slung in. So
Polvara, Rory, plays it over the top to Miovski. He's got there, the Aberdeen striker, but the defenders have got back, holds onto possession, moves out to Duncan on this left-hand side. He's going to move up towards the edge of the box near side, gets the cross in, headed away at the near post, but it's only as far as Miovski who gets a strike on. Brilliant save with the leg by Abrahamsson. What a chance for Aberdeen as Lajuni tries to break for Häcken. Good sliding challenge from Devlin, goes back to Fredriksson. Morris gets a foot in and now Duke can turn and drive towards goal in the Häcken half. He's up towards the edge of the box, Duke looking for a pass, gives it to Morris out on the far side, looks to cross, blocked, and it doesn't fall for Miovski at the back post. And it'll come for a throw in on this far side, but that's much, much better from Aberdeen.
Yeah, well, we're critical of Duke and his finish in the first half, but I think it's very, very harsh to be critical of Miovski there. He does everything he can, he gets his foot over it, and he gets the ball on target as far into the corner as he can, low and hard, but the keeper, credit to him, Abrahamsson, he makes a good save in the end, but a good period of pressure for Aberdeen.
Indeed, throw in by Duncan to Clarkson. Duncan gets it back, gives it back to Clarkson, chips a little ball, but it's easily read by Gustafsson. Then Sadiq helps it towards Rigard. Shinney comes across and nods it out, and it will be a free kick for a high boot. Well, that's a bonus for Aberdeen there. Rigard put the foot up to try and win the ball. Shinney came across, got there first with a header and put it out.
Yeah, he's full of energy, Graham Shinney. Like I said, I felt a bit for him in the first half because I feel the role he was playing, he was getting an awful lot asked of him. He's so tenacious in there and wins the ball back, and he's won his team a free kick here.
Well, everyone but Clarkson and McKenzie are up for Aberdeen. Duncan's going to take the free kick with the left foot. He goes short into the middle of the pitch for Clarkson, who's going to dink it to the back post. Devlin's there, as is Polvara, but Häcken get a head on it, and then Sadiq so quick gets there ahead of Shinney at the edge of his own box, then manages to get out to the touchline and thump it long, and Jack McKenzie's the only one at home, and Lajuni's putting him under pressure, but the Aberdeen defender knocks it back to Roos, who then puts out short to Clarkson. He's under a bit of pressure from Amani. Back to Roos. Out to Clarkson. Aberdeen in their own penalty area playing out, but that's really nicely worked to Rubezic. Then to Duncan on this near touchline. Aberdeen midway through their own half trying to play out. That's a nice ball through the lines. It just evades Polvara, but goes to Miofsky. Round to Shinnie. Shinnie takes a couple of touches, then moves it to the near side where Duncan has moved up. He's driving forward. He's got regard for company. He's nudged it down to Miofsky, who's in line with the edge of the area. He's cut it back. Here's Polvara, and he's scooped it over the bar from 18 yards out. Oh, what a chance for the Aberdeen midfielder.
Oh my goodness, Thomas, and let me tell you, see if that hits the back of the net, you will not see a better goal than that all season. Under pressure at the back, work through the thirds from the defence into the midfield, lovely ball round the corner from to Miofsky. He runs, he cuts it back, and Polvara's got to do better. Fantastic move, really poor finish.
Well, he knew it as soon as he hit it. He fell in a crumpled heap, and he was furious with himself. What a chance that was for Aberdeen to draw level, and Sadiq is penalised for a handball, controlled it on halfway. Mackenzie will look to go quickly, but Aberdeen, as you say, Rory, played out wonderfully there. Were playing Häcken at their own game, really.
Oh, that was a move of the highest quality. I mean, that started from them being under pressure, the ball going to Leighton Clarkson. He flips it round the corner. Shinnie picks it up, goes out wide, played to Miofsky, who runs, hits the byline, cuts it back, and Polvara's got to do better.
Here's Sadiq on the right hand side in front of us, moves it back for Gustafsson, who's going to go for the long ball, chips it for Layuni. He's running towards the corner flag. He's going to get there. The Tunisian winger crosses with the left foot and towards Herstich. Roos has to scramble across and make the save. Well, Aberdeen had a chance at one end and give a good one up at the other.
Yeah, they did give a good one up. It was a good save, but nothing you wouldn't expect him to make, to be honest.
Here's Miofsky tussling with Hammer up the other end, and he's penalised the Sweden defender, and the referee, he's taking his time here, but he's definitely given a free kick and a yellow card for Johan Hammer. I admit I didn't quite see a cautionable offence in there. He was tussling for the ball. Miofsky's got the free kick and the Swedish defender goes in the book, and this is a good position for Aberdeen. It's about 30 plus yards from goal, middle of the pitch, chance to get a ball in the box.
Yeah, it is. It's a good position. I don't know if it's maybe been given for deliberate handball. He seemed to lean into it a little bit. I think he missed it, maybe hit it with his hand. But it's a fantastic opportunity here. Whip the ball in, put them under pressure.
You wouldn't put it past Leighton Clarkson to shoot from this distance. He is capable. We've seen that last season when he was on loan from Liverpool, one against St Johnstone, as well as others, and they're deliberating. It's him and Ryan Duncan over the ball. It's very central. Aberdeen do have players up. It is going to be Clarkson. He looks at goal, strikes it with the right foot low, blocked by Hammer. Out to the edge of the box, Rigor picks up. Then away to Amani, who tries to dribble past Clarkson, loses out, and then Duncan recovers on halfway. Back to Mackenzie, looks up, he's going to switch the play with the left foot. A long raking pass for Morris, but Friedrichsen was in position, the left back, to head it to the feet of Layuni, who's crossing halfway with the ball at his feet. Morris has to work back, he does. Gustafsson now, the Häcken captain and Sweden international, picks up, gives it to Friedrichsen on the touchline, who's up on the overlap. Ball in behind for Layuni to the touchline, squeezes the cross back, cut out. Then Friedrichsen has it on the corner of the box, back post. Sadiq goes for the spectacular overhead kick. It's gone backwards away from goal, but it's still alive with Friedrichsen, who crosses it back in off an Aberdeen head to Duke on the edge of the box, twisting and turning. Gets advantage played after his heels were nicked. He's still going Duke up to the centre circle, and then he's taken down a second time. And they're asking why it's not a yellow card, but players need to be careful, because if you ask for a yellow, you might get a yellow this season. Yeah,
Gustafsson should go in the book there. It's cynical. Duke skips away from one or two players. He's breaking into the BK Häcken half, and he gets cynically clipped. And Gustafsson should go in the book there. Really good play from Duke.
Duncan on this left-hand touchline, and he's been a lot brighter in this second half, Ryan Duncan, than he was in the first in an attacking sense. It's forward on the right-hand side now. Shinnie goes up to challenge with Friedrichsen, and he's won the header, but it's gone out for a throw-in. Aberdeen looking to get back on level terms, trailing after Amor Layuni put Häcken ahead on 36 minutes. Roos has had to make a couple of saves, but so has Abrahamsson, particularly the one from Miofsky, and then Polvara should have made him at least make a save. Hit one over the bar about 5 or 6 minutes ago for Aberdeen, but it's Häcken who come forward. Sadiq, cross from the right, into the 6-yard box. It's gone for Lioni at the back post. He chips it up, tries to chip it to the back post again, but he's got it all wrong, and it flies behind towards the Aberdeen fans behind the goal. Still 1-0.
Yeah, you can't often say this about Häcken, but a moment of poor quality there. So it was. Häcken just quieting down ever so slightly. Aberdeen have got a better grip on the game, but Barry Robson will be desperate to take a goal back to Pittodrie. I don't see why they can't get one here, but it's just that little bit of fear that they could concede at the other end.
61.5 played. Häcken leading by a goal to 0. Roos takes the goal kick short out to McKenzie, who puts the foot through it. Duke feels a little shove and doesn't jump there, and that's offside against Duke in any case, and it'll be a free kick to Häcken. And you would think that they'll want to, well, obviously they'll want to increase their lead, but there's going to be a change made. Actually, Häcken are going to make 2 changes. Ali Youssef is going to come on. Abdul Razak is also going to come on, a midfielder. It's a couple of changes for the home side, who are leading by a goal to 0 here on Sportsound. And Amani, his work is done. Suryan Hrstic, the striker, his work is done. Abdul Razak Ishak replaces Amani, and Youssef replaces Hrstic. So a couple of new players for Aberdeen to deal with, and Ishak is on loan from Anderlecht. He got a multi-million-pound move there from Norrköping, another Swedish club, last year, but he only made 6 appearances at the Belgian side. He's back in Sweden on loan. Another really good young midfielder.
Amani struggled to have the impact in the second half he had in the first. He was very quiet in the opening 15 minutes of this half, so pays the ultimate price for it and gets taken off.
Gustafsson finally takes a free kick just inside his own half, knocks it out to Friedrichsen, into Rigor, middle of the pitch. As Aberdeen try and force Häcken back, they manage to do it as they go back to Hovland in his own half. Then he switches it to Sandberg, who was free, the right back, controls. He's crossed halfway. He's got space in front of him infield. He's still got it, Sandberg. He's waiting for a run. Fires it out to Sadiq on this near side. He's going to try and take on Duncan. And he goes round it brilliantly. Tries to get to the byline. Duncan recovers well and forces the corner kick.
Good play from Sadiq. He's been lightning quick all night and very sharp. He just manages to dance round Duncan. He does get back well, and the corner's conceded.
Aberdeen with some defending to do, and it's been a very even 64 minutes here at the Bravida Arena in Gothenburg, but it is the Swedish champions who have the advantage, and they've got a corner kick here. Gustafsson again is offering the short option, but it goes into the penalty area, and it's not dealt with at the first contact, and then Youssef, and then another effort comes in, and it has to be clutched by Roos, who was rooted to the spot, but it went straight towards him. And now the Aberdeen goalkeepers tried to launch Duke on the counter, but it's headed by Abdul Razak Ishak, and Häcken come forward again down the other end of the pitch, and McKenzie's had to nod it out for a throw-in. So end-to-end stuff.
Häcken were all screaming for a handball. It was pinball in there. It was very difficult to see, and they were convinced that it hit a hand in there somewhere. Not quite sure myself. It's extremely difficult to see because there's so many bodies in there where we are. But his referee looks like he's got his hand to his ear.
Yeah, I'm squinting through a window here, and it's there's definitely a delay, as the officials would call it, as the VAR officials from Poland have a little look about whether there's a handball or not. I have to admit, we've not seen it.
Nah, you just simply couldn't see it through the bodies. There was 5-6 bodies in the way, and the ball's bouncing around. They did react at the time, I must say. See, when the ball hit the Aberdeen player, they did react, and they weren't waiting around to tell the referee. They thought it had hit a hand, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
He's going to the monitor, the referee, and that is worrying for Aberdeen.
Ominous.
It is indeed, because as we well know by now, they do not often stick with a decision. If they are referred to the monitor, then they usually overturn the call. And here we are looking at some pictures coming in, and it's a corner that's just whipped in. The first header's missed, and then it's has come from such close range, and it's hit. I think
the problem McKenzie might have here is he almost motions his hand towards the ball. He's seen he was impeded, at the time of it happening, but it looks to me like he's almost worried that I think it's Miovski's going to barge into him. He puts his hand up to protect his face, and it might just clip his arm. So whether or not the referee deems that a penalty, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's one of these ones. His arm is out, and we know what the laws are like, and in fact he does get a clatter in the face as well. It would be extremely harsh, but it's just what we see nowadays in football.
I think he's worried because he sees Miovski out the corner of his eye coming. He raises his hand to try and block that, and the ball hits it. So by the laws of the game, I can see why they would give this as a penalty.
Well, the referee's taking his time. He puts his whistle to his lips. He's striding onto the pitch. He makes the signal, and he points to the spot. Häcken have a penalty. Jack McKenzie penalised for handball. It seems so harsh on players, but he had his arm out in front of him as he braced for contact. The ball hit it, and after a review, the referee has decided to award the penalty. And this is exactly what Aberdeen dreaded, because a 1-goal deficit even is doable. 2 is of course doable as well, but it makes their task all the more difficult. Still time to respond, and of course Sadiq has to convert this. He's the man with the ball in his hands. He's placed it on the spot. Outstanding Ghanaian winger, has been brilliant. He's got 17 goals this season, scored a penalty at the weekend against Sirius in the Swedish Allsvenskan. It's going to be Sadiq against Kelarus. The Aberdeen fans try to put Sadiq off behind the goal. They're booing, they're waving their arms, they're waving scarves and flags. The referee hesitates, blows the whistle. It's Sadiq, sticks it in the bottom corner, cups his ear to the Aberdeen fans and runs off to celebrate with his teammates. He did a little stutter, he was calm as you like. Roos went the other way, and it's BK Häcken 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yes, indeed. Jack McKenzie punished there. Could he have been braver? Should he have been braver? Should he have stuck his head in where it hurts and forgot about putting his arm in a dangerous position where you know that can be punished these days? Well, Sadiq didn't let his home fans down. He slotted the penalty away. He wasn't bothering whether McKenzie should have been brave or not, and it's 2-0.
And there's going to be a couple of Aberdeen debuts here. Jamie McGrath and James McGarry, the new signings, are going to come on. They're being readied on the touchline, and it's a sucker punch really for Aberdeen, Rory, because they've had 2 golden chances in this second half to get back level, and that just, you can see the Aberdeen fans on the screen just sitting looking dejected, because it just sucks the life out of what's been a decent second half.
It does, but they've got to galvanise themselves and try and grab a goal to take back to Pittodrie. Of course, they can't lose anymore now. That doesn't need saying, but they do need to try and work away to try and find a goal. McKenzie's remonstrating to the referee even still about how hard done by he feels. I don't have the full sympathy with him, because I think he could have stuck his head in there.
Well, Angus MacDonald is also on the pitch for Aberdeen, so 3 subs on. Here's Duke, left hand side, gives it to McGarry, gets the first touch. He's under pressure from Sadiq, gets up the touchline to McKenzie, infield to Clarkson, touch away from Sadiq. He's going away now from Gustafsson, middle of the pitch, back to MacDonald, who tries the long ball up to Miovski, but it's easily dealt with. It comes back to MacDonald, who's gone right into the heart of the back 3 of Aberdeen. Rubezic has made way, and here goes MacDonald. He's forced to go back to Kelarus, who was deceived for that penalty kick. Really well tucked away by Ibrahim Sadiq, talented young player. That's Aberdeen who come forward. Shinnie now, midway through the Häcken half. McGrath spreads it out to the right hand side, cross from Devlin, blocked, and it's going to go behind for a corner, and Aberdeen need to keep going. A chance to put the ball in the box and try and test the goalkeeper. And McGrath, we'll see what impact the likes of McGrath, McGarry, and of course MacDonald coming back to fitness can make. Aberdeen squad at various stages of fitness and readiness. Corner, McGarry right to the back post. Miovski gets ahead and it tries to put it back into the 6-yard box, but Häcken head it clear, and now they can launch a counter-attack. It's spread out to Sadiq. just over the halfway line. He passes it infield for Gustafsson, looks for the first time pass to Yusuf, but it's back. It's Rubezic, in fact, he's still on. He's gone across and done the defensive duties. And it's a throw in on the far side on halfway. And Häcken now don't need to force things.
No, they don't. They will. I do believe they'll want a third to put this game to bed, though, because if they do get 3, I think it's potentially game, set and match. Kel Roos put under a lot of pressure there from Rubezic with that pass, back pass. Dealt with it really well.
Switch of play to Sadiq, right hand side. McKenzie goes across to meet him. Infield to Rigart, who scoops it over the top for Sadiq to chase. He's got a touch in the head of Magari, who then goes back and has another bite and wins the ball really well. The Kiwi up the touchline to Shinnie, who's clipped, hits the deck and gets the free kick. Aberdeen captain looks to get on with things, and he's pinged it down, and Jamie McGrath's running across, and he's got it on this left-hand side. He's up against Hovland, picks out the left-footed cross, looking for Miofsky. The defender's missed it. Miofsky takes a touch, moves it on to Devlin, out to the edge of the box. Clarkson skips by one, crosses it in. Miofsky gets the header, and he's glanced it just over the crossbar. He's got his hands on his head. Another great chance for Aberdeen to get a goal here in Sweden. And Miofsky can't believe it.
Yeah, players' reactions usually tell all, Thomas. And he's got his head in his hands. He knows that's a big opportunity for himself. He's still disappointed. Gets too much on it. I think it's just the faintest of touches he needs to try and guide it into the net. Aberdeen, they can't complain about the opportunities they've had. If they don't score tonight, they've got themselves to blame because they've played well in spells and created chances.
Well, it's 2-0 they trail. Marla Yunis goal 9 minutes before half-time, broke the deadlock, and then Sadiq's penalty 65 minutes after Jack McKenzie was penalised for a handball at a corner. And we've got a break in play here as well, as Steve Agnew, the Aberdeen assistant, just has a word with the linesman asking what's going on. Not sure any of us really know.
I'm just having a look down the bottom end of the pitch. It doesn't, because we can't see down there, which is the problem. Sadiq's down and he's getting treatment there, and that's why the referee, I was looking for the referee there. Like I said, we cannot see that end of the pitch in that bottom corner. Sadiq's down. I think it's his calf he's struggling with, which we don't want to see anyone injured, but Aberdeen will not be too sorry to see him go off the pitch as the referee comes back to restart play.
Well, as Johan Elmander was telling us pre-match, he's been linked with young boys in Switzerland, the Swiss champions. So there's a potential, and Aberdeen will hope that he could be off between this now and the second leg. Aberdeen need to make sure they're still in the contest by that stage. And on we go. Rigart, and that's good tackle from McGrath. Picked the pocket, and now he's up to the right-hand side in line with the box. Puts a little shimmy in, moves it back to Clarkson on the touchline, who's hit the cross again. It's missed by the defender, falls for Miofsky. Takes a touch! Bojan Miofsky scores for Aberdeen! And they do have that goal back. They've passed up a few big ones, but Bojan Miofsky punches the air in delight. He signals to the Aberdeen fans. He took advantage of slackness in the Häcken defence and smashed it home from about 8 yards out. It's Häcken 2, Aberdeen 1.
Don's delight as Miofsky shows his clinicalness once again. The ball comes into the box, he takes it in his mid-drift, he spins, he shoots, he finds the corner. Abrahamson, absolutely no chance. That is absolutely clinical from Miofsky. He could have had a couple tonight, I have to say, but my goodness, he finished that one so well.
Well, he's been Aberdeen's man in the season so far. 3 goals up to this point. That's a 4th. He's banging form. Duke's not scored in 8 games, and he's shouldering the burden. And
the referee, sorry Thomas, is checking something here. I think he's just seeing if it hit his hand. It looked to me like it hit him in the midriff. I don't think it does hit his hand, and Miofsky's confused, so fingers crossed it stands.
Well, I have to say the checks have taken an awful long time this evening as the officials check that. See Craig Sampson, the goalkeeping coach, querying with the match delegate about certain things. Miofsky is totally bemused about what they're checking, and then they thought that it was given there, and then Duke's got his hands in the air. The Aberdeen players are getting frustrated.
Yeah, no wonder.
Even the Häcken, Sandberg, the Häcken right back, he's putting his arms in the air. They're saying, come on, it's a goal or it's not. And it is a goal. given. Aberdeen are back in the game. Bojan Miovski's goal stands and Häcken get on with it. And this tie is finally poised as a long ball sails behind for an Aberdeen goal kick, and the fans behind that goal far away from us, Rory, are loving life now.
Yeah, they are, and I think that Aberdeen deserve a goal from this match. I think they've shown enough in an offensive capacity to have a goal on the score sheet. And Miovski, like I said, the ball into the box, you know, he's in front of the front post, centre of the goal, takes his touch with his midriff, spins, pings it in the bottom corner. Fantastic, not the centre of the goal, just out to the edge of the box, sorry.
And here is Miovski, controls it on the chest to Duke on this left-hand touchline, tries to go beyond Rigard, but the midfielder's challenge, and then he's got it past McGarry and hits the deck, and he's got the free kick. McGarry fervently disagrees, shakes the head. And it'll be interesting to see Häcken's response here, because they must have thought that not far from they'd had this sewn up, but they were extremely comfortable. And now it's very much game on. They tried to come forward with the long ball, and McDonald missed that at the first attempt, got it at the second, goes back to Roos, who thuds it long. Duke chases, but Sandberg takes the touch back to Hammer, and Duke is chasing after the centre back. He's right up on top of him, and he stops the ball coming up the touchline. Throw into Häcken.
Well, I tell you something, Jamie McGrath's impact since he's come on. You know, he made one run, which Shinnie picked him out, which caused Häcken problems. He then made a second run, and he was a big part in the goal. I think he's looked mighty impressive since he's come on.
Well, even more so because he's not had a pre-season. Barry Robson said in the press conference yesterday that he'd been training with the Irish FA to keep himself fit after leaving Wigan, and he said he had no qualms about throwing him in. And as you say, Rory, making an impact on debut. Miovski goes up to challenge for the header, loses out to Hammer, and now Ishak is on the move, plays it back to Layuni, who gets the touchline and is crossed to the back post for Sadiq, who takes it down, but it's heavy touch, goes outside the box. Now he's on the right hand side, tried to go by McKenzie, who this time stands tall, wins the ball and plays it up to Miovski, who's a little flick into the path of Clarkson on halfway, gives it back to Miovski, who takes it infield for Gustafsson brilliantly, and it's from Nicky Devlin, who's up from the back. Nicky Devlin scores! It's incredible from the Aberdeen defender. From one end to the other, Miovski, Clarkson, Miovski in behind, and Devlin appeared from nowhere through the middle of the pitch and lifts it over Abrahamson to bring Aberdeen level.
How many times have we seen Nicky Devlin do that in a Livingston shirt? He's now doing it in an Aberdeen shirt. But let me tell you, see, the goal as a whole is absolutely fantastic. It comes up to Miovski. He flicks it inside to Clarkson, who nutmegs one, plays it back to Miovski, who then nutmegs another one. And he comes down and he picks out Nicky Devlin with a touch. He lifts it over the goalkeeper. Tell you what, that is a goal of the highest quality. Häcken cannot believe it.
And Per Matthias Hogmo, he's got his hands in his pockets, the Häcken manager. He's looking at the ground. He's trudging back to sit in his technical area. He's stunned because it's not come from nowhere. Aberdeen have had chances, but 2-0 down after that Sadiq penalty. Fantastic character and quality, you have to say, Rory, to get themselves back on level terms. 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. They've created enough chances to have scored 2 goals. There's no doubt about it. Now, you could argue the game could be the game could be about 9-6, and we spoke beforehand that both sides were frail at times defensively, but showed so much attack and promise going forward, and that's the way the game's transpired. It's been fantastic to watch, I have to say, and I think the scoreline's probably about right.
Clarkson's won the ball in the middle of the pitch. He tries to play it to McGrath, or it's Esther Sockler, who's come on the pitch as a sub for Aberdeen. And here is Sadiq, right hand side, as Häcken come forward up to Rigard, left hand side, left footed shot, flashed over the bar. It was worth an effort from the Danish midfielder, but it wasn't troubling Kjell Roos. And Aberdeen, from 2-0 down, managed to bring themselves to 2-2 within 5 minutes, and they'll be saying, why don't away goals count anymore?
Yeah, well, indeed, but it's a difficult balance now because adrenaline will be pumping through their veins. They've just scored an equaliser. I have to say, as much as they've created chances at 2-0, I didn't see them coming back to 2 each, so they'll have the absolute buzz and the away fans behind them, but they need to just take a moment to breathe. Yes, if you can get another goal, great. Just make sure you don't concede, because what a result this would be to take back to Pittodrie next week.
Absolutely, you expect that to be packed next Thursday night, and with a tie in the balance with 9 minutes plus stoppage time, and there will be a lot of stoppage time given the VAR delays we've had. It's 2-2. Häcken, Swedish champions, 2-0 up, pegged back by Aberdeen. It's been a gripping game. Miofsky's come alive in the second half. He touches around the corner, advantage being played out to Magari on this left-hand side, left-footed cross in towards Sokler, and then Clarkson was at the back post, evaded. Devlin cuts it back to the edge of the box. Miofsky takes a touch, blocked, and it's spun out back out to Devlin, who chases it, and the flag's gone up. Devlin offside, I think, after the second phase. But suddenly Aberdeen are all over Häcken.
Bojan Miofsky's turned into an absolute world beater in the last 15 minutes. What a touch that was when it first came up to him. Knocked it out, gets played out wide, the ball comes in, then it comes back out to Miofsky, and it was a fantastic block, I must say, by Hammer. Really, really good.
And the free kick short to Abrahams, and the goalkeeper Sokler's straight up on him. As Aberdeen go for this, Miofsky putting pressure on Hovland, who has to nod it out for a throw in on the far side near the corner flag. And Aberdeen will smell a bit of blood here. Nicky Devlin's goal.
Yep, well, the 450 fans who travelled would have been thinking 15 minutes ago it was a wasted trip. Not now, worth every penny.
Throw in to the feet of Clarkson, back to Devlin. Clarkson turns, tries the left-footed cross, it's blocked. Friedrichsen's going to try and present the corner, he's got there. That's good defending, he sticks out for a throw in instead. And Aberdeen with their tails up, they've come back from the dead. Throw into Clarkson, back to Devlin, right-footed cross into Sokler. Abrahamsen comes, cleans out the striker. Aberdeen are appealing. Sokler's rolling around, holding his face, and the referee's going to have to stop play for a head injury.
Yep.
Oh, I tell you what, that was physical. The keeper came out. It was full-blooded from both players, and Sokler has taken a sore one.
Yeah, it wasn't dissimilar to, well, looking, depends how much of the ball the goalkeeper gets, to Onana down at Man United. I think the problem with this one is the goalkeeper gets a lot more of the ball than Onana did, but he does dive into the player as well. He drops the ball, which doesn't help his case, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, almost gets his body in front of Sokler and the ball as it comes in from the right-hand side. So he gets his body in front, and that allows him to punch the ball. It was an unconvincing punch, you have to say, but he did punch it. He did get the ball first, but he's clattered into Sokler, who is still down receiving treatment. And Häcken make a sub here. Totland, the fullback, is on. Friedrichsen is traipsing off. And Aberdeen just getting some water on. Nicky Devlin, what a run that was from Nicky Devlin. He came from absolutely nowhere for that equaliser, just surged through the middle of the pitch, and what a finish as well it was.
Yeah, and he'll be absolutely delighted. Obviously he made a mistake which was out of character for him against Celtic, which let Kyogo Furuhashi score. However, he's shown exactly why he was brought to the club there, and you have to say, since he's been pushed out, since Angus MacDonald's come on and been pushed out to that right hand side, Willie Miller said at half time he looks so much more comfortable, and my goodness, did he deliver on that occasion.
The good news is Esther Sokler's up on his feet. He's just been taken off the pitch right in front of us. He's getting the finger wagged in front of his face to see if he's not concussed, essentially. That means Aberdeen are briefly down to 10 as Häcken come forward, but that's a loose pass from Gustafsson, and Hammer, the centre half, has to chase that. Gets there, spreads it across to Hovland. Sokler's got his hand in there, he's desperate to come back on the pitch. Aberdeen momentarily down to 10 men. Fought back to level at 2-2 here against the Swedish champions Häcken in this Europa League playoff. 5 minutes plus, plenty of stoppage time to play, and the Aberdeen fans are bouncing up and down behind the goal as Häcken look to attack. Here's Totland. Sadiq on the right hand side. Infield to Rygaard, who's got space for a cross if he wants it. He gets the left-footed cross in. Yusuf tries to flick it round the corner to the on-rushing Sadiq. There's some appeals for a handball or something off the Aberdeen defender, but Aberdeen managed to clear up towards Sokler, who's like back on the pitch, and in fact he's won the free kick because he was grappled by Hammer, who's having a wry smile to himself.
Yeah, and Häcken want another penalty. I don't think that's going to come because the hands are down by the side. It's flicked from close range. I don't think it ticks enough boxes for it to be considered a penalty. It's a natural movement. It doesn't see it coming by his side. No penalty for me.
We're looking at the replay. McDonald has got his arm squarely by his side. He's not even looking at the ball. Long ball for Aberdeen. Free kick comes forward. Devlin gets a touch but then has to scramble across, and Ishak will get there first, tries to take the throw in quickly, but it wasn't his to take because it's an Aberdeen throw on the far side. And it's been all Aberdeen really since Bojan Miovski fired in there first of the evening to reduce the deficit to 2-1. And Nicky Devlin has since levelled in this Europa League playoff first leg tie live here on Sportsound. Hearts in Conference League action against PAOK. That's to come after the conclusion of this game here at the Bravida Arena in Gothenburg, where Aberdeen are on course for a fantastic result to take back to Pittodrie as they look to secure Europa League group stage football for the first time since the 2007-8 season. Ball into the box looking for Miovski, but Abrahamsson will come and collect that comfortably and rolls it out to Rygaard. Danish midfielder, he's got space in front of him, marches over halfway line. Shinnie goes to meet him, moves it out to Totland on the right hand side. McKenzie closely marshals him, offloads to Sadiq, who's, dare I say it, become a bit quiet as Häcken give it away. Shinnie nips in, and here's Sockler up on the halfway line on this touchline. Good pass in field for Shinnie, who's driving forward and he's away from Gustafsson down this left hand side. He's now running at Hammer. He tries to move it inside to Clarkson, who leaves it for Miovski, who turns away, and then he's hit the deck looking for a foul. It didn't look it at first glance, and now Ishak comes away on the counter over halfway for Häcken. The Swedish champions are not done yet. Here's Yusuf driving into the box. He's going to stand up the goalkeeper, and he flashes the shot. It's well wide in the end from the angle we are standing at. That looked like it might touch the bottom, the top corner of the net, but actually in the end up, Rory, it was well wide.
Yeah, it was well wide in the end, but for half a second your heart skips a beat and you think maybe it's flying into the corner. But Häcken broke well there, but that initial move from Aberdeen, honestly, they've been absolutely magnificent in this second half. I know they conceded the penalty, which they'll be disappointed about, but some of their moves going forward and the interchange and the passing has been absolutely top class.
2 minutes left of the 90 at the Bravida Arena. Aberdeen come back from 2 goals down, and they're not done as Miovski flicks it onto Sockler, who goes down under a challenge of Hammer, but it was good strong play from the Swedish centre half, who moves it back to his goalkeeper and then goes out to Hovland. And Häcken have been nullified in the last 20 minutes by Aberdeen, but they are a dangerous side and they have goals in them.
They're shell-shocked, I think. They really are. Only in the last couple of minutes have they started to get themselves back together.
Here's Totland, the replacement right back. Pass in field on the halfway line to Rygaard, into Ishak, the midfielder. He turns away from Jamie McGrath, who tried to put the challenge in, and McGrath's kind of tugged him back. Play goes on out to Totland, right hand side, dragged back, moved on to Ibrahim Sadiq, who scored that penalty to put Häcken 2-0 up and set up the first as well. But Aberdeen win it, and it's Miovski. He's up against the 2 centre halves. He's got no support, but he goes round one of them and then he's taken an elbow clean to the face and gone down. And that was a clear elbow to the face, but it's only a yellow card for Hammer. But he's already been booked and he's off. He's gone. Johan Hammer protests, but it's right in front of us, Rory.
Well, the question for me, Thomas, was forget the second. Is it a yellow card or a red card? So I don't know why Hammer's complaining. Miovski flicks the ball past him. Wonderful skill with the left foot. The elbow comes out. He catches him in the face. Whether he means it or not, for me, it isn't relevant because it's dangerous, very dangerous. And he catches Miovski. And for me, like I said, whether it's a booking or a straight red card, he's quite rightly sent off either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in line with us, and I think he just tries to. Miovski tries to take it round him, and then he's almost accelerating away to try and chase the ball, but his arm comes flying out and catches Miovski. I mean, square in the face.
Away from the incident, this is what an opportunity this is with the players they've got around the ball. 20 yards out to try and nick a win.
Yep, just outside the D on the edge of the Häcken penalty area, and Leighton Clarkson will lick his lips at the prospect of this one. And surely Aberdeen can't come back from 2-0 down to win this game, as Layuni, the man who opened the scoring back in the first half, is going to go off, and he's replaced by Uchenna, who is at centre back, which tells you everything you need to know about Häcken's mindset right now.
Yep, and honestly, for about the last 20-25 minutes, Miovski has been a joy to watch, an absolute joy.
8 minutes of added time has just gone up on the board. 8 minutes of stoppage time. We've had several VAR checks, one of which for the Jack McKenzie penalty. The goals have been checked, and it's going to be Clarkson who fancies this one. McGarry is over it as well, though, with a left foot. Clarkson will think about it with the right. And who is it going to be? The left foot of McGarry or the right of Clarkson? It's the right foot of Clarkson, and it's flashed just over the bar. Still 2-2 here. 2 minutes into the 8 added here in Sweden as Miofsky comes forward, and it's ballooned out by Hovland onto the top of the stand for an Aberdeen throw. We'll see if we can go back to Paul once this penalty is taken. There's going to be a delay here. The referee is having a word with Sadiq. As Aberdeen try and play out from the back, McKenzie gets it from Roos. He's under pressure. He's gone forward to Sockler, who's had an impact since coming onto the feet of Clarkson. Miofsky's run beyond. The flag stays down. He's into the box, left-hand side. Picks up the cross across the 6-yard box. And Jamie McGrath has tapped in for Aberdeen, but the flag belatedly goes up against Bojan Miofsky.
He did look off. I think he went a little bit early. It's once again a wonderful move. I just think Miofsky tries to get away from the defence a little bit earlier than he needs to. We'll see here. It's maybe tighter. You know, it's the right. I think it's the right back from Häcken who's potentially playing him on. His hand goes up, so it'll be interesting to see what the decision is. I still think he's just offside, but it'll be very interesting to see when they draw the lines what comes back. But the composure from Miofsky to lift his head as well and pray it across goal for the tap in. Aberdeen have been, since the penalty went in at the other end, Aberdeen have been immense, absolutely immense.
Yeah, the response, because when that penalty went in, they'd missed a couple of chances to level, and it felt like in the stadium a real sucker punch, and they brought themselves back. And this goal, Miofsky did look offside from the replays we've seen, but it is tight and sometimes the angles can be deceiving, and it's been checked and he was offside. No goal, so it is still 2-2. Jamie McGrath's tap in will not count. Häcken play out. Uchenna decides to go long. Sadiq misses it, but then Yusuf tries to lay it off them, but his pass wasn't good, and suddenly Häcken, the sharp, crisp passing and interchange that we saw for the first hour, has dissipated slightly.
Well, Jamie McGrath has basically, for me, played his way into this team on Sunday against his old club St Mirren. He's been a real catalyst for the change in tempo momentum in this game.
Long ball from the goalkeeper of Häcken, Abrahamsson. Aberdeen send it back. Uchenna heads it back into the Aberdeen half. McGrath wins the header. Ishak picks up the loose ball, gives it out to Larsson, the new signing. Arrived on Monday for Häcken. And Hearts peg back after that Lauren Shanklin penalty just moments ago. Aberdeen level here with Häcken. We've played 6 of the 8 added minutes, but I dare say there might be another one added at the end because it's been very stop-start. That goal was checked as well, and by McGrath that was disallowed, and Aberdeen heading for a fantastic away result in this Europa League playoff. We'll get to Tynecastle as soon as we wrap up here for full live commentary of their Europa Conference League playoff as Roos takes a free kick from his own half. The Aberdeen goalkeeper, Devlin's up, misses out on the header, but it comes back for Rubezic, who helps it forward, headed away by Häcken, and Yusuf comes back to win the ball, but there's Shinnie's in there, wins it to Miofsky, gets it off to McGarry. He's about 25 yards from goal, little backheel flick, plays it into the penalty area, and Hovland gets a clearance on it down to the halfway line. McKenzie under pressure from Sadiq, but he does really well to turn away from him and then fires the pass into Miofsky. Looked like he was fouled off the ball there, and yet the referee is going to come back. He was playing advantage. None came, so Aberdeen will have the free kick out on this near side.
He may have conceded the penalty, McKenzie, but he's dealt with Sadiq a lot better in this half. You know, he's playing that left-hand side of the three at the back, or he was, and he's handled them an awful lot better than he was in the first half, and that's been, again, another catalyst in the turnaround in this tie.
Chance for Aberdeen to send this into the penalty area. They've got players up. Clarkson's going to take with the right foot towards the back post. He's hung it high. It's up to the edge of the penalty area. Uchenna, the centre-back, wins it up to Shinnie midway through the Häcken half. Helped back in towards the edge of the penalty area, and Rubezic gets a touch on it, but it's out to the wing where nobody is. Sockler has worked his socks off since coming on. Goes across, but he's committed the foul right on the touchline. No, it's just a throw-in, but the throw-in is taken quickly. And then the referee's not happy with it being taken quickly. And I think Larsson on the far side is asking whether it's a throw or a free kick. And it's a free kick indeed. And he's going to take it right on the touchline in line with the edge of his own box. Aberdeen level with the Swedish champions Häcken at 2-2. We've played 7.5 of the 8 added minutes here in Gothenburg. It's been a magnificent second half display from Aberdeen. 2-0 down. They've come back as Hovland takes a run up to halfway. The centre back, he's run past Miofsky and co. McGarry intercepts and then Shinnie picks up on halfway. And now Aberdeen are on the front foot. It's slipped to Miofsky, who's going to get into the left-hand side of the penalty area. Puts the left-footed cross, but there's no one in red. They are instead Häcken clear to Shinnie on the edge of the box. Shinnie with a strike! Just past Abrahamsson's post.
Yeah, very unlucky. Not only has Mackenzie dealt better with Sadiq in this second half, Shinnie has dealt better with the midfield in this second half, and a great night.
And there is the full-time whistle. Well, what a game we've had here. Aberdeen 2-0 down. Layuni in the first half, a penalty given against Jack Mackenzie, which the outstanding Sadiq tucked away to make it 2-0, but then Aberdeen roared back. Miofsky with a first, Devlin steamed through to chip over for the equaliser, and then Jamie McGrath thought he'd maybe won it for Aberdeen, but it was pulled back for an offside by Miofsky. But what a result away in Europe for Aberdeen and Gothenburg. It's been a fantastic game. It sets up a thriller next week at Pittodrie. It's finished here in Gothenburg at the Bravida Arena in this Europa League playoff first leg. The Swedish champions Häcken 2, Aberdeen 2.
This is Sports Time with me, Richard Gordon. It's been an exciting night thus far in European competition. Hearts currently 1-1 at half-time against PAOK at a noisy, atmospheric Tynecastle. Earlier it was 2-2 in Sweden with full live commentary from Gothenburg as Häcken went 2-0 up through Layuni and Sadiq from the penalty spot. The Dons had chances but had missed them, but a very, very impressive last 20-25 minutes from Aberdeen. Miofsky with a really good angled finish, got them back into it. Devlin surging through the middle to finish off an excellent move just 4 minutes later, sending off of Johan Hammer for Häcken. And then Jamie McGrath, who came on as a sub and made a huge contribution, looked to have won it for the Dons deep into stoppage time, but was... Well, correctly, the flag, I think, went up for offside against Miofsky before he had delivered the ball. Nevertheless, a wonderful 2-2 result for Aberdeen, especially given that they trailed 2-0 with less than 20 minutes to go. Willie's thoughts to come. Let's hear first from the manager, Barry Robson.
I know the players that we've tried to take in. I know what they're like. People need to realise we've built a new squad. We've got players coming in. Somebody arrived last night at midnight with Jamie McGarry's been away for 6 weeks. We've had about half of them, try to get them into the groove and the way we want to go. The other ones are having to jump in late and get on it. And it takes time, but for me, I think when you watch that performance, and by the way, they're a right good side. They're a right good team. You can see the players they've got in their team. You can see why they've got players moving for a few million at a time. And it was very... I think you could see how aggressive we were, even the first half. And then what we did second half was we brought the ball with us as well. We got a bit better with the ball, and then when the two of it came together, we looked like a right good team.
They were on the ropes at the end, though, Barry. You could have won it.
Yeah, we could have won it, and credit to the players. Listen, it was a difficult night when you see the penalty. The game must have went on for 5 minutes, did it? I had no clue what was going on. The game went on for about 5 minutes again, and then there's VAR. We didn't get much, and I don't know how I can speak about officials and all the rest of it. We didn't get much out. I jumped up and claimed for a penalty and got a yellow card. So I don't know what to do. Do you sit down? I don't know. Am I allowed to speak? I don't know. So I'm as well just standing like that. And let's take the whole passion at the game.
Given the amount of chances you were creating, were you always confident a goal would come?
I think so. I think when you got players like Duke and Bojan and Esther coming on, and Esther's trying so hard because he was so good in pre-season, he's so good in training every day, and he wants to show everybody how good he is because he is good. But when you've got they two playing ahead of him at the minute, and by the way that is just at the minute because we need them all. But yeah, Bojan with the pre-season he's worked with under us, he looks a yard quicker. Duke is a lot fitter, but obviously he's a bit behind because of other stuff. Obviously he was away. But yeah, I think when you see that I say we're playing with two wing backs who are wingers. Do you know what I mean? We're playing with 2 wing backs and wingers, and we're playing with 2 full backs and centre backs, and that shows you how attacking and aggressive we want to be at the minute. But obviously we've signed some other players as well. So listen, I'm frustrated. We should come away with a win there. We should come away with a win. But what a brilliant result! What a brilliant comeback. But I always felt that was in us.
Let's hear from the man who earned Aberdeen a 2-2 draw earlier in Sweden. 2-0 down, and Miovski got the first Don's goal. Nicky Devlin it was who got the equaliser, and Nicky been giving his reaction afterwards.
Nicky, what time to get your first goal for the club?
Yeah, it was good. I was saying to you guys earlier, obviously I think anyone watching the game a couple of weeks ago realised, I know myself, I cost the game against Celtic a few weeks ago, so I kind of owed the boys a performance, owed the boys kind of maybe a moment like that, so hopefully that kind of goes away but to repay the boys, because I thought they've been excellent from the start of the season, and listen, I think we kind of got what we deserved tonight.
At 2-0 down, did you always think that there was a route back into the game for you?
Yeah, I think by watching us already this year, you probably see we're always going to create chances. We are kind of always feel like we're in games, regardless who we're playing. Don't get me wrong, at 2-0 down away from home in Europe, it's not a great situation to be in. You maybe do start thinking about the next game and how difficult the game was going to be to kind of turn it round. But we went from maybe being in a sticky situation to all to play for in the second leg, and we know obviously when we get back to Petroja, we fancy taking ourselves on against anyone there.
But I guess after a comeback like that at a difficult venue like this, I guess there's the mental challenge. Nobody should be stepping out in the pitch at Petroja thinking it's job done. No, listen, we want to, wherever we play, we want to make sure teams know they're in a game. That's the way the managers kind of recruited and brought players in, and that's the way we want to play. We want to be on the kind of the front foot, whether we've got the ball, we've not got the ball. We want teams to know that they're up against it when we play them. As I said, I think we managed to do that tonight, even in the first half. We go in 1-0 down. I still think we had good chances in the first half to punish them. We didn't manage to take them, but listen, second half we did manage to take them, and as I said, it sets it up nice for next Thursday.
Nicky Devlin there was a delightful finish at the end of what was an excellent move, and Aberdeen with a 2-2 draw and him with a real chance, you would hope, of getting into the group stages of the Europa League.